Hi there, everyone. How's it going? It's good to be able to stream today. There was a sort of a minute where I thought maybe this isn't going to happen, but um, managed to get here and relatively on time too, which is always a welcome surprise. All the technical side of stuff seems to be held together as usual with duct tape and a dream, but it seems to be working right at the moment. So, without further ado, I suppose we might as well get started. So, today's stream, basically, the intent is that I sort of reboot what I was doing last time when I played Termina, which was a while ago now. So, if I just restart the playthrough, then sort of everyone can jump in here and sort of have a fresh starting point, and I've had some more experience with the game now as well. Um, so we can maybe have a bit more of a chat about what exactly the game does and how it does it, because it does a lot of really cool stuff basically. So I want to sort of delve into that. We'll talk about game design, and obviously some. I'll discuss probably what I've been reading. But yeah, otherwise, I think we might as well just get started. So we're going to play as the journalist, age 26, having covered wars, coup d'etat, and other disasters. The journalist has picked up various skills that help her survive. Persuasion skills definitely not being last on that list. So we'll give Karin a try. And of course, we'll just play on regular fear and hunger mode. And we'll play through the whole introduction again, just so everyone can see everything. Hello, Blue Voices. How's it going? Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well. So we'll say no. We're not going to skip the character history. The soothing sound of the rail tracks. You're not used to such peaceful and tranquil atmosphere. You didn't have to agree to the rules, Yavers. That's a first. It finally remembers you. Congratulations. It's a real milestone. You can't help but let your mind wander. You reminisce what has led you to this point in life. You were always a curious child. Your elder siblings and your nanny had to keep you out of harm's way to the best of their abilities. Just a moment's lapse in their vigilance, and you'd be running behind a corner for one of your many misadventures. Your parents were always busy. They had very little time for you and your brothers. Instead, you were mostly raised by Dahlia, the nursemaid of the household, a tall woman in her 30s originating from the eastern sanctuaries. In your memory, she was all right, but something always felt off about her. Your parents were fresh aristocrats in the Bremen Empire. Despite being highly thought of, they were outsiders among the nobility, for they had risen to power by their own means and thus didn't have strong roots among the other blue blood of Bremen. This proved out to be a problem when tensions within Bremen borders were rising, with different factions rising to prominence around the country. Hey, how's it going? Good to have you here. Situation looked bad for your family, as you didn't have strong lineage to back you up. When the time came to throw someone at the wolves to please the general public, the Sauer family was the first to go. Certain populist factions were able to agitate the common people to start riots, and a huge mob headed towards your family manor. In a hurry, your parents gave you to Dahlia's safekeeping and told her to leave the country. They would look you up when things had settled down. Or that's at least what Dahlia told you afterwards. You were still a bit young to remember properly, but you could have sworn that Dahlia never consulted your parents about your departure. In your memories, Dahlia just flat out kidnapped you. Whatever the case, you and Dahlia travelled to Jataya, the capital of the Eastern Sanctuaries, recently named Eastern Union after they joined forces with the Voronian Republic. The culture shock was quite drastic. You had never seen such poverty and such riches side by side in the street view. All the unfamiliar sounds and scents from spice vendors that circled your automobile. It was all too much for you as you were growing restless by the minute. Dahlia struggled to contain you as you opened the car door and jumped out of the moving vehicle. We're going to Convince passers-by that we've been kidnapped, because that seems to be the truth. You learn Persuade. Despite the language barrier, you managed to convince some of the people of your distress. Once Dahlia came following with her excuses, she had a lot of convincing to do to get the people to give you back to her. Dahlia tried to assure you that you had nothing to worry about, but once again she gave that off feeling. You didn't know what it was, but you seemed to have a sixth sense when it came to judging people's character and honesty. But there was not much you could do. You were still considered just a child after all. Alright. So you ended up living with Dahlia in a rather decent looking building. She was cashing checks to maintain your lifestyle. Dahlia's version of the truth was that your parents were looking after you by sending money, but you had a feeling that it was just ransom money Dahlia kept spending. It wasn't all bad though. Growing up in the Eastern Union gave you some perspective at the very least. The way the local authority oppressed the locals made you wary of those in power. In your teenage years, you started spending more time with various civil rights organizations that were active in Jataya. During one of the weekly protests, the local army decided to make an example of your group. Without mercy, the armored officers pummeled brutally those in the first rows of the demonstration. So we could help those who are wounded. Grab a pistol. I think we're going to grab a pistol here. You got a Luger pistol and 6 bullets. You noticed an unconscious army officer on the ground. You picked up his pistol in a hurry, pointed the gun at the opposing forces, and shot. You managed to hit one of the officers, but you only managed to shoot his thigh. In return, he answered your fire with fire and shot you in the abdomen. Good. Maybe not the best choice. You fell down immediately. The pain was excruciating. You woke up in the hospital. There were people from the Bremen embassy waiting for you to wake up. Apparently, the protest had gained some publicity, and they had noticed you on a television. You've explained your situation to them, and they took you in their custody. Obviously allowing me to keep the gun, I suppose. Soon you were already on a plane flight headed back to Bremen. You returned to your mother and her new husband. The rioting mobs had burned down your family manor all those years ago, and your father had died during the unrest. You never heard of Dahlia again, but apparently she had indeed kidnapped you, and you were living off of ransom money your new stepfather had barely been able to put together. Your sixth sense seemed to be working as intended. Your turbulent life had left a mark in you, and you had trouble staying still for too long. Instead of settling down properly, you became a journalist at a very young age. The situation in Bremen seemed very suspicious to you. A mysterious person known only as Kaiser was appointed the Chancellor of the Bremen Empire without any prior involvement in the country's politics. He had appeared seemingly out of nowhere and taken control of the whole country. Kaiser was partly responsible for what happened to your father, as it was him who had been riling up people against the nobility of the country. But it wasn't just that. You also got major off vibes from this person. That's why you dug deep to uncover his past. Nothing seemed to make sense, though. There were connections between Kaiser and a so-called secret society called the New Gods, but that started to sound like a petty conspiracy theory the more you read into it. Still, your sixth sense was tingling. The New Gods were a group that had been talked about since the cruel ages of history. They were the typical secret society, controlling different nations from behind the curtain and puppeteering those seemingly in power. There were several people in modern global politics linked to this group, and the more you investigated the subject, the more it started to look as if this group was behind the last 2 great wars that had ravaged the world. Something big was definitely brewing in Europa. So when Kaiser occupied Preval, the capital of Bohemia, only to shortly after make a truce with the Eastern Union, that's when your alarm bells started to ring loud. Something was definitely off. You decided to take off and travel to Bohemia yourself. With this long trip ahead of you, how did you prepare for the trip? Medical goods. Managed to find 2 blue vials and a cloth fragment. Never hurts to have more healing items in this game, I think. You felt tense since the moment you embarked on this journey. Every night you'd see nightmares of the horrors that would wait you in Preval. Are they just dreams? You can't help but feel that there is more to the dreams than mere logic would dictate. Save your character history, yes please. Skip the intro. No, we'll play through the intro. Go to sleep. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. That was quite a lengthy character intro. That must be one of the lengthier ones. Other than Osar, the mage. I think he's got the longest one. You feel like someone was watching you while you slept. I'll have a look around. Pile of suitcases have been left here without supervision. Locked from the other side. Pitch black cabin. Fun. No answer. 2 shillings. Just what I needed. So yeah, it's I've been playing quite a bit of this game this year. Yeah, really experimenting with firm grip. You cock the gun and switch the safety on and off. You remember his teachings. He told you how to wield this thing. You used to hate the mere idea behind firearms, but now you see them as the simple tools they really are. It is the humans behind the guns that disgust you now. Search the luggage. Bottle of vodka. Yeah, so I had quite a bit of experience. Still, not a master of the game by any means. But I've been trying to think about the design decisions that the game makes. Some of which we could argue are poorly designed from a traditional game design perspective. So this place is not the train anymore. Got this fun guy. You! I've been looking for you everywhere. Just where did you think you ran off to? Don't you understand the hurry we are in? I don't understand. The eyes of the janitor bulge out from their sockets as his expression intensifies. No one expects you to. You're a stupid fucking human after all. Now, get your ass back to the workbench. Fine. This is your last chance. Next time, it's punishing time. What am I supposed to do? What? You're supposed to assemble new cubes, of course. As for how, figure it out yourself. If you're not capable of that much, you're beyond hope, and useless in every sense of the word. What you googling at? Nothing to see here. Eyes on the cubes. Work, or I'll rip those eyes out of your pretty face. Charming. Directional keys to assemble cubes. Right, on the factory line again. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this game. It has to be one of the first games I've been properly obsessed with since I first played Pathologic. So I hold it in very high esteem, and I think it's worth examining how it does certain things very well, and then a few other things can be at least conceived or construed as really frustrating and annoying. Obviously, all subjective, so some people will find that really enjoyable, and others won't. I think it's just how difficult or how punishing you want your game to be. And of course, this one's got the difficulty slider as well. But we can discuss that a bit later too. So the girl in pink is trying to get your attention. Follow you, okay. Where do you think you're going? Away from you, buddy. Gonna kite around the table. I don't know if he follows all this way, but seem to be home free out of this crummy dimension. Your head hurts. You feel like you're losing your mind. So we're in the chamber of the new gods here, where all the gods live out their retirement in an endless, boring banquet, I think. Yeah, the first thing you'll notice is that, yeah, the game's got tremendous art direction and tremendous sound direction. It does a lot with very little, and that's one of the reasons I admire it so much as a game. It creates this atmosphere out of what you'd consider to be almost nothing, but it's this really powerful, tangible atmosphere. You know, you can really get to grips with how the game feels, and just from this introductory sequence, it's really impressively put together. Mysterious person. Ah, there you are. A mysterious person greets you in a monotonous voice. Got you pulled out from that nasty place. You were going deep into that rabbit hole. Now you are safe under the beautiful green hue of the moon. Welcome. to the moon tower. And then you'll notice even just the music cue coming in at this line of dialogue. It's just little things like that that really make you appreciate this kind of attention to detail. And you sort of get this real sense of the sublime out of just like sets of 2D artworks, which I didn't really think um, would be as effective as it is. I mean, to sort of get the sense of awe and shock and sort of be like, subsumed beneath this atmosphere just by using um, really effective, like, this is an effective visual, right? Standing on top of this tower in the middle of this endless night. The only thing that's visible is the moon and this weird guy who's sort of looks like he's chuckling to himself the whole time. But just having something enormous, something that dwarfs a human figure, um, just seemed to like mock you basically. That's a really effective image. Obviously, that's playing into cosmic horror and the history of cosmic horror, to sort of make humans feel dwarfed by the scale of everything that's going on around them, sort of the noise and the terror. But what fiction also does is it can give a method to that madness in a way. It can order the horror, give it a point of origin, and in this case, it appears to be the moon or an aspect of the moon. It's unclear whether this is the actual moon or not. I think. I guess if it was, the Earth would be in a lot more trouble. Not that Preval is a nice place to be at the moment, anyway. Okay, what is going on? That is what I'm here for, to explain the situation you are currently facing, to explain the great once in a lifetime opportunity that has fallen within your grasp. Since our words could not possibly reach my master, I speak in his behalf. And again, that's just another little world building thing, right? Puts him far, far above you. And who might my master be? Well, for now, let's just say that he is the delinquent one, Rur, the trickster moon god. And me, you can call me Percole. I am just a humble servant of his celestial majesty. As far as I understand as well, I think Percole means evil spirit or something in Finnish. So obviously, he's a guy to be trusted. You are the dreamer. He is the dream. My master has invited 14 of you to join us in this jubilee of cosmic proportions. 14 candidates, but only one true victor. The festival of Termina is upon us. What is this festival of Termina? It is a festival to give you, the humans, a peak to grandeur and a chance to reach for illustrious heights. The festival to end all festivals. This must be all very confusing to you. I won't burden you with any more information at this very moment. No, please. Just head towards the tower. That's all you need to know for now. I will gladly answer questions once you get there. But until that, let us meet again under the moonlight. You wake up suddenly. Was it all just a dream? The train, it seems to have stopped. Right. So we got a pipe before, didn't we? I might just knife. Okay. Never trust someone who adds quotes to the name of the location they tell you to go to. Yeah, no, that's generally a bad sign. I think that's a personal philosophy of mine as well. Yes, go to the bus stop. Yes, I'll meet you there. I'll answer all your questions once you arrive. Truly, truly helpful. These seats are perfectly suited for resting. You just need to clear out all the papers out of the way first. Combat manual and a map. So we got a really nice map. I can't remember if I showed this last time, but I think what impresses me most about Fear and Hunger 2 is the sense of space, right? So the atmosphere I was talking about before, but it's smart enough to focus on a single place, and in doing so, it gives it the opportunity to have this really concrete character. Um, and the fact that it doesn't randomize either can be something of a I think a trade off because the first game had rooms at least that would randomize the layout, whereas this one you're always going to have the same character, right? Um, the same spaces. So there's an element of predictability, but it also adds to this feeling of, I guess, homeliness because I don't know, we have this real interesting notion of like we get comfort out of games or out of things that we experience routinely, I think. And the fact that it's a game provides rules and structure and routine. And also, when you take out at least one element of the randomization, at least you know, okay, when I go to, you know, uh, I know what the National Museum, for instance, I know what the challenges inherent to that location are. So I'm going to go into that prepared, for instance. And then you sort of start to really get to grips with the setting. And then when you do that, I think the level of immersion can be heightened. But for some others, I think you can also get into like a meta gamey kind of like, okay, now I need to zip over here and I'll just do the bare essentials here. And I feel like there's a tension between knowing a game and gaming a game, if that makes sense. When once you know something well enough, you can really get immersed in it, and maybe the frustration levels go down a bit if it's a particularly mean horror game, for instance. But then also there's the danger of making things too easy for yourself, um, which is like that's a silly danger on the one hand, but it's still nonetheless like something that can happen and worth considering. Man in the suit is talking to himself. Seems to be completely lost in his own thoughts. I'm late already, so late. So that must be the best course of action for now. Interrupt a discussion. Oh, the pretty lady got up. Just what is going on here? Good question. I'm pretty puzzled about this situation too. Train left us all here at the outskirts of the city. All the train personnel, everyone gone. No explanations. Something fishy going on. It's a mystery, all right. It's an understatement. In any case, we decided to stay and wait here for a while. Someone has to come for the train sooner or later. So if you're not in a hurry, I recommend just taking a seat inside and maybe trying to relax. Maybe we could introduce ourselves. Um, I love these just sort of snide, not interested. We probably won't be seeing each other again, so what's the use? Um, but yeah, introduce yourself. Do that. My name is Marina. My name is Olivia. Lovely to meet you all. In the greatest of circumstances, you can call me August. Hey, I'm Heinrich. If you need any help with anything, let me know. And this mystic gentleman over here is Osar. It was Osar, right? Silly man. Pretty sure it was. We were the first to wake up. Before you came out, we were talking about this. Did you happen to see a peculiar nightmare before waking up? As a matter of fact, I did. Everyone saw the same dream. Like the exact same. The moon, the girl in a pink dress, the festival of Termina. It all felt too real to pass off as just a dream. You don't say. I was saying that it must have been a premonition of some kind. The moon and that servant dude wanted to inform us of something important. Too bad the dream ended just before I got to the juicy bits. A premonition, like a fortune telling? I guess you could put it like that. hmm. The just a point probably to make now, and you probably already noticed like the various like typos and mistranslations, which are all understandable. Um, help give the game like this unique voice in some way. You might, I don't know, you might find that frustrating or not, but you'll notice, yeah, just wee sort of mistranslations or grammatical issues. And the more I play this game, the more it gives it its unique character for the most part. There are a couple of word choices here and there that strike me as particularly odd. Um, I know I think it's when you play as the boxer, you get referred to as a Chad, which is interesting given the setting is 1942, I think. And obviously, you can make a case. It's like, oh, it's a parallel world. It evolved differently from our own, but you're still like in the player's mind, we're still linking it to the history that we know. Um, and when you use words like that, when you use language like that, it does change the mood. So even like small words like that um, are going to affect how you approach a game or approach a translation. Just an interesting thing to consider. Pff, that's absurd, Heinrich says. You can't really believe superstitious crap like that. Giga Chad was big in the early talkies era, hence the black and white. Damn, yeah, I should have brushed up on my history. Well, let's hear out your theory then. I don't know, maybe everyone was in a stupor after waking up. You guys started to babble about this stuff right away, so just thought you had the same dream. Now I think about it, I'm not so convinced I saw the dream anymore. You saw the dream, you said it before, don't go backpedaling here. You really did say so. It's my word, I can backpedal all I want. I say it was nothing, that's a man of conviction. We should just move on. Whatever. Hmm. I also had an idea, but dream truther. It's a little grim. Never mind. Never mind. I said anything. It's stupid. Grim. Now you've got me. Now you got me curious. Well, everything has this surreal quality to it. It's almost as if we're still in a dream. What if? What if the train crashed and we all died? What we are experiencing is the afterlife or purgatory. Or maybe our subconscious is going through our lives, like our lives flashing before our eyes, before the darkness. I like if everyone just bursts out laughing. Yeah, maybe. I knew I shouldn't have said anything. Forget it, please. Ha ha, don't worry. I like where your head's at. I doubt that's the case, though. Don't know about you, but I feel pretty alive. We're all dead theory sounds eerily plausible. This exact conversation happens in the beginning of Little Hope. Haha, yeah. I like this version better, though. Little Hope is such an interesting game. Interesting is, yeah, a good word for it, I think. It's inherently restricted by the format, the story it's trying to tell. Um, the story isn't like necessarily bad or anything. It's just the nature of it, and if you've come to it knowing the twist, for instance, then it does make the gameplay feel pretty redundant. Um, that's it's a weird one. Part of me has considered playing it or playing one of those games and examining their structure because they're enjoyable, but also they're like pretty terrible. Um, yeah, they're interesting. Whereas this game is doing a better job constructing mood and setup and character. I think people don't feel quite so hackneyed or cliched. Right, this hazy fog clouding our environments, the complete silence. Nature should never sound this quite. So we are all dead then. I'm glad we figured that one out so easily. We could spend the afternoon guessing what's going on, but we wouldn't get any wiser. I agree with Heinrich in that we should just move on. I need to be going anyway. Which way is the city? Yeah, big fan of the artwork here, as I mentioned last time. Making making the most of just 2D art like this in perspective and animation. You'll see what I mean in a second. Look up there over the forest top. Can you see the tower standing erect in the mist? That tower marks the center of Preval. The concept of a co-op game where you're not supposed to talk with your friend is the funniest thing. Yeah, kind of bizarre. It's like, oh yeah, like don't communicate what you're seeing, so it'll help you make suboptimal choices. It's yeah, it's like this weird role playing setup, but it sort of sucks the joy out of playing a game with a friend. If you're gonna play it that way, I've only played it with people like the sort of passing the controller around on the same couch. I've not done the online play, but yeah, like it, I can just imagine like sitting as the developers intended, like or like sending the person who's not playing like out to the other room, like wait out there. You know, you don't get to see what I'm doing. Like it's gonna be a surprise. Um, it's a very strange way to approach developing a game that's intended to be the shared experience, and then trying to have the players feel this, like I don't know. It's not like hostility or anything, but you're just not meant to share what the other person sees, right? Or what you're seeing, um, so as to increase the suspense. Yeah, it's a it's a it's a strange concept. Hike through the forest to get there. It's not that far away. Um, got it. Have fun. You know where to find us if anything comes up. What are you gonna do? Shrugs. Wait here, I guess. I'm not in a hurry. Alrighty. Day one, monologue with the moon. Here we go. Alright. Let's start playing now. So we got everyone else here. Pick up a green herb. Just try and scrounge around for any herbs or anything. So yeah, already off the bat you get this great division. Like there's a great division in this game between the wilderness and the city. Whereas the wilderness is often more forlorn. You're obviously going to find more enemies. Take the rotten meat. You're obviously going to find more enemies in the city itself, and even just those small changes really make you aware um, of the different kinds of horror. Because like traditionally speaking, horror does function differently depending on the setting. I mean, if it's good horror anyway, it should take advantage of whatever setting you've placed it in. And the advantage, right, of so many horror stories placing themselves in rural settings is that you get to enjoy like a bit of both. Um, you can lean into sort of the isolated backwater feel, like you don't know where to go. Nature's sort of taken over the edge of town. Feels just innately hostile, and then you can still go into the city and still have your interactions with corrupted people or whatever you want to make it. Um, but yeah, I did want to discuss it at some point. Empty bucket looks like it fell over on its own. In a video, this sort of like this the interplay between a city and the wilderness that is often present in video game horror. Even in something like Resident Evil 4, you got that progression right from the village to the castle to the military base. I mean, it's quite a transition across the game, but it feels natural. It feels earned in that circumstance. What is that? What on earth is going on? They are dead. Yes, they are. Moving on. Get another green herb. So the green herbs are used to cure the infections. So I'm gonna try head towards the old town here. Green herb. Trying to think what I've been reading, what I've been getting stuck into. Oh, hey, Frank Alonso, how's it going? Good to see you. Just gonna mosey on past that guy. I'm sure he'll be fine. He sounds, he sounds fine. I'm sure. Sounds like a really interesting video idea. Kind of been hoping you'd do it at some point since I started thinking about it a lot after your shorter mentions of cities versus wilderness. Yeah, no, I'd like to do it because I think there's lots of room to examine a variety of good case studies. Because like I feel like I mentioned it in reference to something like Oblivion or just like a like an open world fantasy RPG, right? We have um, you have this interplay between all the bandits, they're outside the city, and there are two sort of distinct threats. There's the threat that is applicable within a city, and all the stuff that comes out of the wilderness, and those are basically two different environments, and by necessity, game designers are developing two different sets of encounters, and I find it interesting how we delineate that. That's true and when designing like a tabletop campaign as well. What happens in a civilized, quote unquote, civilized space is different from what happens in the quote unquote wilderness traditionally. So it's interesting when games blur the line or create such vivid distinctions between the two. Um, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. A mysterious beast approaches you with saliva dripping from its gaping mouth. The creature seems to be in hunting mode. Stay away, foul beast. Your words are in vain. The beast is clearly out for blood. That's how dogs look when you're 3. Incredibly accurate. Enormous, horrible creatures. Yeah. Not the black vomit. Vomit burns, except it doesn't, because they missed. Headless is panting. Gonna try and ramp up our attack there. It was enough. Excuse me. Look, I got a companion. No, got caught. I feel like this is a pretty good encounter to start the game off with, theoretically. Burning. He just wants pets. No. Burns again. What can I... Might as well just do the same thing here. There you go. Okay. Search the creature. Nothing of worth. So I don't think I... Yeah, so I need a white vial to cure the poison, which can be found in any fridge as far as I understand. What I will do... I'll try and run through the bunker section pretty quick. Free domesticated wolves that way, who's to say I wouldn't work on eldritch abominations? Maybe I should try that next time. Smell of rot strikes immediately upon opening the hatch. Oh. It's you. You were on that train too, right? What are you doing here? I found this hatch. Look, I'm so proud of myself. A hatch in the middle of nowhere. Seems a bit suspicious, no? Interesting, the very least. How about we hop in and see what's under there? You have to be at least a little bit curious. Yeah, let's check it out. That's the spirit. There we go. The tunnels reek of death. I always love how that pops up and then Bella will be like, wow, this place is incredible. I heard the Eastern Union had a big underground network around Preval. I wasn't expecting this. Where'd you hear something like that? Oh, yes, it was on a newspaper a while back. It's close to my line of work, so obviously I keep an eye on articles like that. Obviously. Oh, we haven't even introduced ourselves yet, have we? I'm Abella. Nice to meet you. You don't get to say a word, but I'll be traveling with you for a while now. Oh, sure, I guess. Come with me. We shall explore. No, chest is empty. A sewer winch. It's not bad. A random thing to find in here, but found a gasoline canister. Very nice. Pressure plates. 10 to 1 as many gasoline canisters as you can find, so any extra ones are really nice because you need 2 to activate each generator, and 1 is also recommended to deal with a certain enemy who I think I dealt with in previous streams. Yeah, he's not so fun to deal with without a gasoline canister, I find. And here's the other one. So we've got 3. Shelves are full of spare parts for machinery. Yes, we find duct tape. Awesome. Scrap metal. Scrap metal again. An ornament lantern. Just keeps getting better. It's like Christmas. For a survival horror player. Oh boy, junk. Yeah, I'm really like this tunnel in particular. I think as I showcased last time, but for those who didn't tune in, there are basically 2 different sets of enemy encounters that can happen in here. If you go to the mayor's house first, you'll come back here and you'll encounter Chorgna, which is the horrible. Okay, we're just gonna demonstrate his intelligence here. So you can't move that box. But yeah, you encounter Chorgna, which is this horrible, really deadly enemy who, will pursue you. Yeah, foiled again, damn it. My one weakness, a box. So we'll just leave him to be sad there. But yeah, Chorgna is like this horrendously difficult enemy for the stage of the game that you're technically fighting them. So obviously the best strategy is to run away. But poured both gasoline canisters, activated again. But if you choose to go here first, obviously you see poor Tanaka, the salaryman, die. He's obviously the easiest character to have die because he dies if you come here first, and like regardless of what you do, he's going to get his head chopped off by Needles, the clown here. Needles, fortunately, is incredibly stupid. So you can just block him in here. I was really pleased when I figured out you could do that because it did mean that coming here is obviously the easiest thing to do. Sadly, it comes at the cost of Tanaka's life, and Tanaka is a really entertaining and interesting character. So it's a shame that he has to suffer a fate like that in most attempted runs I've made of this game. But yeah, Needles is still just seems like he is just as dangerous an enemy. But Chorgna is like that step above. So you're sort of already like at this early stage making decisions that will facilitate like trade-offs and benefits. Like when you have Chorgna, I think we saw last time Chorgna will smash the elevator door open, so you can't take it back up, or you shouldn't anyway, because Chorgna's like right behind you. Electric panel here. This is my chance to shine. Short circuit of the electronic lock, and obviously, yeah, Chorgna is this much worse encounter on almost every level. Much harder, much scarier. But Needles is still cool and interesting. 2 lucky coins. It is my lucky day. But yeah, I think there's a lot that's really well designed, well considered about this game. Obviously, maybe Needles shouldn't be able to be foiled with a box, but I'm not complaining about that, to be perfectly honest. Let's have a look in here. Anything interesting? Tale of the Pocket Cat. So I think I read that last time. Dead body, relatively fresh state of decomposition. Hard to make sure of the cause of death. There's not much physical trauma present. Maybe he suffered a heart attack or died because of some other diseases or poison. Oops. Search. Appears to be a letter and a key in his pocket. Soldier's letter and the eagle brass key. So you can see, obviously, the poison does take its toll. Yeah, I'm at 12. I guess I'll drink this vial and then I'll run to a fridge. You switched on the monitor and connect the tele-electroscope to the logic. Absolutely nothing could go wrong. And yep, now we're gonna try and run to a fridge now that we've done that. But yeah, been reading an interesting book this week. Not finished it, but basically about time and the melancholy of history. It's by, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but the surname Nitzche. It's not the Nietzsche, obviously. It's Nietzsche, but nonetheless, he's a very accomplished writer. From what I've read, he's constructing this really good argument. Just do this conversation here, and then I'll get back onto that. Ooh, you made it out alive. I'll take it you found the key for the city gates. Oh yes, that's the one with the eagle. Good, good. I would have gotten it myself, but you never know what lurks in the deeper depths of the soil. Besides, the festival is only at its beginning. I don't want to do anything too risque just yet. Now I know you can be a reasonable person, so would you please open the city gates? Got some other business to attend to. So, be killing you later. I mean, seeing you later. What a silly guy. What was that all about? I'm sure he knows something about this tunnel. These tunnels must be part of the big reason Bremen army wanted to occupy this area so badly. You're probably right. The reason I'm puzzled about this ordeal is that the truce happened right after Bremen reached this area, the city of Preval. Seeing these tunnels makes me think there was definitely something fishy going on. Didn't find any parts for the train. Oh well, maybe I continue with you, just a little while longer. Might be safer in a group. Yeah, be seeing you too. It's just so nice to meet you. Really appreciate it. Bumping into you. But yeah, the sort of the book I'm reading, I guess, links into the ontology stuff, which I'm also interested in. But this idea that I think it was like after the French Revolution, after the Napoleonic Wars, or during the Napoleonic Wars, that basically a lot of Western historians, philosophers, or just the Western world in general, all pivoted. I'm going to go in here for a second and avoid those guys. Sort of like catastrophized time, basically, but didn't just catastrophize it. Time sort of evolved into something else for a lot of those scholars, for a lot of those people. No longer were we a single, like, unbroken chain of, like the past. We're all like humans together, sort of thing. We're all just like living and mucking about in the same sort of continuum. Um, as far as Nietzsche's argument goes, he's arguing that we have basically like this emergence of the idea of the contemporary. So as we sort of see the contemporary, I don't know what that ring is. I don't think I've ever got that before. As we see this sort of prevent bleeding, yes please. Optimize. Still only have a knife. We start to see ourselves as like part of a present era, like different from what came before. And then basically what starts to happen from a certain perspective anyway, is we start to see ourselves as theoretically like exceptional or different or like just distinct from what came before. And here's, we start to get like these sort of haunted um, impressions of the past, but we also get elements of the present like imprinted on our interpretation of the past, which I think is a really fascinating idea. I haven't finished the book yet, so I can't say how the whole thing ends, or what conclusions he comes to in the end. But these ideas of contemporariness being um, like emerging during this period, I wanted to, yeah, like see how I could link in this sort of contemporariness, in the same way I talked about, analog television and analog radio. I mean, static and all these kinds of things. In Forbidden Siren, we have these sorts of relations going on there. Right, I can't equip the pipe because it's a two-handed weapon, and Karin can't hold two-handed weapons. Right, that makes sense. Um, she's a bit hungry. But yeah, I was sort of looking at linking that in somewhere. But regardless, it's just an interesting read. And I feel like we can, sort of see that in a lot of places, really, this contemporariness. All right, so we're going to try and avoid the woodsman, because I feel like if I fight him now, he's going to kill me. Fortunately, he's quite slow. Just dodge out of the way here. And come down to here. And I think last time I talked about Jesper Juhl, right? So he was writing sort of about how games were these sorts of inherent power fantasy vehicles, and I really have been thinking a lot about that idea, um, that the rules of almost every game, he said, um, were skewed towards the person playing the game, and because of that, we did inherently get a power fantasy, and often the rules of the game preclude this idea of a tragedy. And we can sort of argue, I think, back and forth as to how effective a definition that actually is. But it is an interesting, it's an overgeneralization, but nonetheless, we sort of have like this, yeah, it's this interesting idea of tragedy, as something that's harder to attain with this medium, than others, which I think, may be true in like one sense, but yeah, there's a lot more going on, I think, with a video game tragedy than you all gave it credit for back in 2005. I've read something similar regarding the perceptions of golden eras in Europe, more specifically the view of the Roman Empire as a uniquely exceptional and unattainable civilization, yes, leading to the so-called Dark Ages, created a great fear of empires collapsing again and a return of that Dark Age. I mean, yeah, like even in the use of that terminology, like Dark Age, showing a sort of bias, for, yeah, like this sort of the great civilization that came before. I've heard a lot of modern scholars disapprove of that terminology as well, partially for that reason. That simply, like, although there wasn't like necessarily like widespread literacy or anything like that, in the sense that we'd understand it, there was still like culture being produced. It wasn't like it wasn't an age where stories weren't being told, etc., etc. Red meat. And, we have this interesting perception of literacy as being, I guess, just reading or writing, which isn't necessarily strictly true. Just the act of storytelling, speaking to one another and remembering these stories, that can be literacy. Can't reach that barrel, can we? No. Vinegar, wheat flour. Nothing out here. These people seem like they're having fun. I gouge my eyes out, but I still see the green hue. Green hue. It devours everything. Nothing left here. Meat pie. Big crate. You can't really open. You can really open it with a bit of tools. You can't really open it, I presume it's meant to say. A bloody bowl. The blood is all dried up. You can already hear death rattle coming from him. Finish him off. He is dead now. Good job, me. Search him. 2 shillings. I think we'll leave his body in peace. Spare him of any further suffering. Need to find a better weapon and avoid standing on any bear traps. Do love how this game catapults the setting forward into a World War II analogue. It still feels cohesive with the weird mythos from the first game. I think, recontextualizes a similar sort of horror in a completely new period. I totally agree, and part of that, building on this sort of mythic history of the first game is maybe why I slightly prefer this one, because it feels like it's tapping into something deeper and more well established. And obviously the game itself, the setting is something easier to connect to in a sense. Like we recognize urban environments, whereas horrible dungeons can be a little harder to inherently connect with from a modern perspective. But you're right in that it recontextualizes a similar sort of horror. I've seen criticism of this game, with Blasphemous 2, that it's sort of it loses part of what made the original special. It's not as short circuit of the electronic lock. We can go through. It's not as gory, chalk, or it's not as psychosexual in its approach, or not as vividly psychosexual in its approach, which people take umbrage with. I think for whatever reason, or some people do. They're sort of like, oh, this game it's back down from what made it special, um, which isn't really true. I mean, it's just trying different things. I mean, you can't expect the same things, the exact same kind of horror every time. And I think mostly the subtlety of this game. I prefer my horror to be slightly more abstract or slightly more subtle. Not to say that the first game's horror was not good, because it really is. It's a really great game as well. But I think there's a refinement of the storytelling process here. I think that I really do enjoy. It does a very good job shifting that horror and modernizing it in a sense, because this is force the door open, so she's not gonna. We're not gonna be able to force this, but we'll attack the door anyway. Stupid door. The door is too strong for you. You gotta interact with the panel, right? Through we go. 2 shillings. Unlock the door. And does this... Where does this lead? Oh, into the sewers? Yeah, it does. But we can't. Right. So that gate's just locked, and we're not going to be able to break that down. So that's alright. We've technically opened most of the way through. We'd need a small key to unlock that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like there were some enemies I found immediately more effective or visually appealing. Maybe it's just maybe it's just the refinement of his art style that I find so satisfying. It's obvious that like the Fear and Hunger art was already stellar, but obvious that he refined his technique or changed his style slightly to fit this more modern um, setting, and it really does work. It's really well put together. Would like to ignore being pursued by those guys. I have a sneaking suspicion that the people who are angry this game doesn't have so much sexual horror. I only liked it originally. Yeah, because it was shocking. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the whole shock horror, like, oh, such and such wouldn't be made today because, there's all these sensitive people, they'd want trigger warnings, etc. on it. I always see that's silly and that gets exhausting to even think about or deal with these kinds of complaints. But I do think you're right. There's obviously a bit of that floating around, just sort of, oh, why can't it be just as edgy as it was before? True art is shocking and edgy, and I mean, you're still like, this game isn't any less shocking, really. I mean, you've still got like these people like peeling their own faces off and like heads nailed to the wall. Damn it, those those damn liberals in their safe spaces are making it impossible to get another good world war going. Yeah, you sort of do get the sense that people are just fishing for complaints, really, in a sense, which is always frustrating. The World War Three cancelled because of work. Yeah, it's depressing. The dark corner of the unwanted and the undesired, where they dumped the diseased, stillborn, and now the moon scorched. Welcome, O fresh one. Welcome to the shit pit of Preval. What's going on here? The high priest of the city, they want to have their cake both ways. They spit on us and condemn our depraved ways, but when the time comes for the ceremonial gifts, the unknown gods take their elevator down here. Hashtag cancel World War Three. Yeah, let's get that trending. Where did that originate? Oh well, there's a horror game analysis. He's got some really important things to say on World War Three. He just doesn't think it should happen. Strangely enough. All right, I'm just gonna try and deal with this guy as quickly as possible. Yeah, so they only have like 300 health on the torso, which makes sense because they're like horribly malnourished, diseased people who've been driven mad. But still don't want to let them attack you because they can do a bit of damage and also give you an infection from biting you, which is something I'd like to avoid. And what I really like about the game's considered design, I mean, like you have the gun, but it's tied to the same button as the sprint. So what should be something really helpful, much like the original survival horrors. All of a sudden, like you have to move much slower or stand still to shoot. And making these like deliberate choices and trade-offs is a big part of survival horror. This must be the television room. The entire room is focused on this television set. Too bad it's useless because of the lack of electricity. Okay. Going to change back to the knife. I really need to find a better gun. Excuse me, sorry. Sorry, chaps. I mean to interrupt your nice lunch. It's alright. He's got it. He's got this. He's intelligent. He's confident in his pathfinding abilities. He's thinking about it. No, okay, he gave up. Oh no, he's back. Alright, we got inside. Never follow us in here. Find a white file. These are these glass shards I can pick up? No. Take some leftovers. Delicious. Old socks and underwear. Mind has gone down a lot, probably from wandering out in the bunkers without any actual light source. Okay. So the question is, I mean, we'll just syringe of heroin, mushroom stew. Nothing left here. Just keep moseying along. It's the end. Shotgun shell. No use for you. Detergent. It's a lot of fun, this game. I was playing it earlier this week, and I had like about 2 hours of solid progress robbed when I got uninspiringly killed in some horribly anticlimactic fashion. And my first thought was like, well, I get to do it all again, but better this time. Which I don't know if that's like an indictment of my own of my own like masochistic, like, yeah, the game just like shot me down, but like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go again. But like on some level, like I do enjoy that. Like I could have saved, like there was an opportunity for me to save, but I was like, no, you know what, I'm gonna gamble it. I'm gonna gamble like another like half an hour, and like that ended up being my downfall. You'd be a good roguelike. There's not many roguelikes I have necessarily like attached myself to, just because I enjoy the interplay of like curated storytelling and rules, obviously, and game mechanics. But that being said, I'm always like keen to hear recommendations. I know roguelikes, it's harder to have that kind of that story, but yeah, like I enjoyed the first one. Leans much harder into that, I think. Yeah, like you can only like save safely once throughout the whole game, and I think all the others are either you got to get lucky to pick up a Book of Enlightenment, which is what I picked up before, that allows for a save anywhere, or what else do you have to do? You have to like do a coin flip, I think, every time, which that gets fraught if you're having to like do a 50-50 dice coin flip. Leave it up to chance whether you're allowed to save or not. It's just it's a different design decision, and that changes how we see things in quite a profound way. Alright, I'm going to try sleep on this nice bed. I think this means someone will come and say hello. Faint footsteps disturb your sleep. Yes, what do you know? Sorry, I didn't realize this was your bed. I didn't mean to be rude or anything. Just disable that and... Oh. He survived. His arm survived. Not that time, though. So that 3 rev up, that allows for a second attack as well. Yeah, you've played them both, obviously. Franco Lenses, like which game do you prefer? You prefer the first one or the second one? because I think there's a lot of interesting differences between the two. There goes poor Tanaka. Welcome back. Seems that you're very much acquainted with your fellow contestants already. Very delightful to see such progress already. Keep up the pace, the festival won't last forever. So what is going on? Since the 13 of you are such late additions to the party, your day is already running short. The festival will see its climax in just 3 days. That is how long you have time. Use it wisely. Time to do what? To gut, scheme, and revel in the bloody remains of your rival contestants. It is a simple festival at its core. Do you mean that I have to kill other contestants? What you do and what you don't do is entirely up to you, of course. Do you want to kill your fellow contestants? But enough about that. Let's proceed to the services I can provide. How may I best aid you in your quest? Losing progress in the second one is so much more frustrating to me because runs are more varied. Yeah, in Fair and Hunger 1. Yeah, I get that. The characters, writing, monsters, etc. are all cooler in this game. I think I tend to agree. Though I do still think the world in this one is interesting and detailed enough to warrant repeated exploration even after you've just done it. There's always new ways to mess around in the same environment, I find. Someone described it as an immersive sim, I think, in a Steam review, and it does feel like a JRPG horror version of an immersive sim as far as you can take that in RPG Maker. So we'll save it there, and then we'll go see if we can get this other key. We'll go have a look in the city. Karin, that guy. There's a towering waiter greeting here. Good afternoon, miss. From what I understand, you're a newcomer to this town too, no? We just got a new mayor to the old town. I'm sure he's thrilled to start his business immediately by meeting the newcomers. Please, he's waiting in the dining room. Alright. Yeah, no, I really like the concept of the of basically all the monsters in this game. I like most of them in the previous game too. But in this one, again, I don't know, somehow they feel more cohesive. I don't know if that, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it just comes down to personal preference. Newcomer, new comes, then the new goes. Just in time for dinner. Sit down. Sure. Hey, Bella, you wait outside. You don't get any food. Newcomer, isn't it peaceful here? I'm glad to see you're not a complete loony yet, unlike those others. You saw those people, didn't you? One can only wonder what happened to the folks around these parts. They've drifted far from humanity. Only thing they seem interested in is scavenging the scraps around the old town. How might I have in-depth discussions with them? I want to talk about poetry, music, and culinary arts. What happened here? We're in the same boat here, my friend. I don't have the answers. I heard the Bremen military meddled with something. Some say the moonlight scorched this earth into something unrecognizable, and the town folks say it's always been this way. Newcomer, you haven't touched the food yet. These are rare delicacies you can only find in Preval. I've travelled from afar just to experience them. Pick these, for example. Don't they look absolutely delicious? Use your imagination. Food can be as inspiring as the highest forms of painted art or the most complicated musical arrangements. What comes to your mind when you look at these dangling beauties? These are all pretty good options. Why, the duality of the mind, of course. Now you're just showing off. What the hell is that supposed to even mean? Are you even taking this seriously? I am. Horror game analysis, I gotta look into it. Let's see, yes. What about this little squirmy thing? What comes to your mind? Snakes. Slithering on the ground, yes, the deceiving one. This one is my favorite. This peculiar fungus. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Rainy day. I can see that. You can still smell the damp forest floor. Don't know about you, but I'm full. I thank you for the company. From what I understand, you are needed in the city. I do have the key, however. I have one last question. Do you support the Bremen army? Are you a man o' Kaiser, so to speak? I fight against the Bremen army. Haha, yes. You have my support. Here, the key is yours. You get the lion brass key. The key is with the army, I'm afraid. No two beers high-fiving option. Yeah, every video game needs that as an option. Sadly, yeah, if it doesn't have it, it's like a 1 out of 10 from me, I'm afraid. The other key is with the army, I'm afraid. Please be discreet. I do not wish to start trouble with the Kaiser. Do not mention my part in this. By all means. Not like we actually ate anything, so I do need to have something to eat. A turnip with pieces of dirt in it. Don't mind if I do. Delicious. I love the moon scorch enemies. Same. The realization of, like when you find one and then you figure out who exactly it is. Other than the Pathologics, this may be the best game where you have a big cast of characters that have a real bad time. Real bad, yeah. Trademark. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. It really is, yeah, such a good cast of characters, all really well characterized. That have to go through the most horrible shit. But some of them at the other end sort of climb out, or can climb out better and stronger, whereas others, go through this horrible suffering. I hope you had the most pleasant meal. So my mind's slipping away. I've just unlocked the suicide option in the menu. So I'm having a great time. Just going to have a tomato. We're each going to have a tomato. My treat, Bella. It's my treat. Don't say I never give you anything. Going to have a beer. And yeah, in all seriousness, it's a fantastic game. I said at the start of the stream that it's probably the first game since Pathologic, when I first played it, that sort of captured the same feeling, and in doing so, constructed a really, a really powerful, foreboding atmosphere the whole way through. It's really, like sort of the first game to totally dominate my imagination, like that. Since Pathologic, I think the first new game that I've played. Just sort of fascinating interplay of game design, and great world, great story, great. Great atmosphere, great characters. Aside from Silent Hill 2 and Pathologic, definitely looks the most appealing of the games you streamed, so I'll concede to peer pressure. Awesome. Yeah, no pressure, but I'll expect a pretty, I'll expect an essay, like a book report, some feedback every week. How's it going? What are your thoughts? Yeah. Frank Lindsay's evil plan is working splendidly. Take the bone saw. Yes, I'll take the seventh hand as well. Why not? Altar of the new gods. To appease the one sitting at the grand hall, you must put forth a worthy offering. So let's have a wander around this foreboding basement. Alchemilia. And obviously, you see a lot of references to other media, particularly Silent Hill. There's a lot of Silent Hill references in here. The rifle, you're going to keep that on. We're gonna equip not the rifle, but the pistol. The opening in the forest reminds me a lot of Silent Hill 2, yeah. It is really interesting how that shit gets real much faster. um, it's yeah, it's interesting how the same tricks can be used even like across genres and across time. That's another thing I'm interested in, is sort of the reoccurrence of like gameplay motifs across time, which is partly why I'm reading about time. Is yeah, like how time sort of reoccurs. The villager lunges at you. We're gonna go heads, but we're probably still gonna get stabbed to death. Thank goodness. You dodged the psychotic villager. I shoot the psychotic villager. Gotcha. Such an interesting experience to be peer pressured into playing a game and making a PowerPoint presentation on it, rather than smoking like in school. Yeah, well, that's why you stop round at my channel, right? Is precious peer pressure. Everyone plays Fear and Hunger around here. No exceptions. Just like everyone went out and bought Silent Hill Origins after I finished streaming that. I mean, I know we were all pretty obsessed with that game, so who could resist? Alright, gaze locked firmly. Move the chains. Go, go, go. Such a... I would like to play through all the Silent Hills on stream. At least all of the mainline ones. Love the enemy design in this game as well. Everything looks like something you'd imagine catching a glimpse of under your bed as a little kid. And the best way possible. I totally agree. I think it's a great way to describe it. You have like just such a variety, but they all feel, yeah, like cohesive, as I was saying before. Like they all clearly come from the same world, from the same sort of monstrous eldritch deities. I mean, it all feels unified, and just how weird and creepy they all are. I'm gonna get some wine because it's good to drink to escape my problems. Use a small key here. Yep. Go to wheat flour, another gasoline canister. Lucky coin. Gasoline. Oh, I'm rolling in gasoline canisters apparently. Pipe wrench. Yeah, I would love to hear like just from what you've seen, yeah, so far. Like, the villages are inspired by um, Francis Francis Bacon paintings, for instance, I believe, and they all have this sort of like smudgy, dreamlike quality to them. Their faces sort of distorted um, by the light of the moon. I mean, it's just such an evocative idea. Um, so much to enjoy about this game. Um, Here's where things get like dangerous. The bobbies are really annoying. I think as we established last time. The person who made them understands what unnerves humans on a primal level without the cliches, like making an enemy just a shadow or a wall of flesh or whatever. Yeah, there's each enemy has something recognizable about them. I think we're back. We're into like uncanny territory. We're also into abject territory as well. It's really interesting, the amount of humanity or sort of the animal qualities you can recognize in each creature. For justice and order, here we go. Okay, these guys suck. Hopefully I survive. Okay. So you talk. Nothing scary in the sticky keys. Damn right. I love that it activates even when you're playing a game and you would not want sticky keys to be activated. The voice is distorted and screechy, barely understandable. You have violated the martial law set by the High Priest of the area of Preval and its surroundings. The law broken. Everyone must stay indoors. The protocol to use: lethal force. I wasn't aware of such laws. I'll do better next time. No, you're contaminated. There's no way back anymore. Contaminated? You'll want to talk. We govern with actions, not with examples. Sounds unjust. I thought you were all about justice and order. Unjust. Unjust. You got the Bobby wondering. Seems to be lost in his thoughts. I guess, so that would have worked, I guess, if I hadn't attacked, but that's alright. I know what to do next time. I think. The Bobby stopped shaking his head. Blow his head off. Gotcha. Find a small key on him and beat him. Body was pulsating steadily, but now it stopped. The husk of the Bobby feels stiff and hollow. And we can sort his head off as well. So you probably heard that laugh as well. That means the clown is out and about hunting. So we got to look out for him too. I think we saw last time he's pretty dangerous. I should theoretically have the tools to deal with him, but he's dangerous nonetheless and can be unpredictable. I think you saw that, like, even when he was blind, he was still like whipping me indiscriminately, which makes sense because I guess a whip, like a cat o' nine tails with heroin needles on it, doesn't necessarily need so much finesse if you don't really care who you hit. But yeah, there's someone crouched over here. You're in Clown Town now. Yeah, we'll see if we run into him. He might kick my ass, I might kick his. We'll see if we're in Clown Town or not. There's a tall man here wearing what seems to be a rubber mask. Oh! Here I am, busy with my own business, completely ignoring this beautiful chipette. All apologies, pleased to meet you. You can call me Pocket Cat. You have one of those familiar faces. I feel like we've met someone before. Perhaps in a past life? Maybe. Things sure have changed since then, haven't they? We live in peculiar times. The world has gone through true darkness. The world has been at a standstill, in a deep rest. People stocked up on toilet paper and hid in their homes with their loved ones. They're waiting for that glimpse of light just because they knew that even the darkness has a breaking point. Say, old sport, what do you think follows such intense darkness? Growth into something new. Yes, change is the only thing inevitable. From personal experience, I'd say a true darkness is followed by chaos. The mind, or the common consciousness we all share, strives for something new. When one is truly done with the darkness, one strives for new with such vigor that growing pains are inevitable. But there lies the danger. You see, chaos can ragdoll us into any one direction. The direction is not always towards the light. Sometimes one can find themselves lost in a limbo that is the chaos. When you enter the limbo from a dark place, there is a big chance that you contaminate the chaos with your darkness and just create a new pitch-black space, maybe even darker than the one before. I guess I'm just rambling here, letting my mind wander and mouth slander, as they say. You know me, when I get excited I can go on and on and on. I didn't mean to take your time. From what I understand, you've got your hands full with the festival already, so I'll get straight to the point. Not only a wandering gentleman, but I am also a head salesman of sorts with deep, deep pockets. What is a head salesman, you ask? Well, it is exactly what it sounds. I'm willing to part from my valuable collection if the price is right, and the price is severed heads of those participating in the festival. Macabre, I know, but you get used to it. God knows I did. This is what I have to offer. Quite a nice collection. 0 contestant heads. Oh boy. Happy to do business with you. See you later. Truly was a pleasure to meet you once again, but I fear I must go for now. The tower you're heading towards, it's to the east of here, just beyond the church's hidden passage. Let us meet again there. Perhaps I'll even have a special deal for you. My pockets are very deep, you see. But until that time, old sport, take care, take care. Okay. So, the way this game is divided up once you've reached this stage is basically there are three there are two different objectives, and optimize that. Can I go back to the pipe? Oh, actually, maybe I will go with that. No, so there's nothing else I can pick up on you, so you keep the pipe wrench. Karen's out of ammo. Okay, never mind. I don't have any ammunition. Okay. But yeah, basically, I have to find 3 effigies, and I also have to find the remaining 2 tele-electroscopes, and those can be pretty hard to find. So basically, this stage of the game is sort of breaking down the game plan and also hoping I get lucky enough not to trigger one specific encounter that sucks. It has a chance of triggering in this alleyway, which is the biggest pain in the ass. If they spawn, I'm basically dead. I've not found a way yet to beat them. It's a collective of enemies. Not these guys. They might still kill me. I feel like I've been killed by these guys before. We're just gonna try plow through them as quick as possible. Because of the infected bites and stuff they can administer. But if we do good enough damage, we'll just kill them. But yeah, the enemy that can pop up here can provide a real jump scare. And they're really dangerous. They can kill you in a turn. They're probably the only thing in the game thus far that I'm really opposed to from a game design perspective, just because they feel like they don't quite belong. Open the lid. Sewer drain here. So we're gonna leave. Needles is coming, but we're gonna let the clown chill up there. Lavender cloth fragment. Do I have any? I've got 1 blue vial. Yeah, the mob. So basically, the mob. If I happen to bump into them later, you'll see what they look like. But it's 3 enemies. You can't target their limbs individually like you can with other enemies. Basically, one of them is a unique enemy that has a meat grinder, and the meat grinder does, I think, like 3 times 20 damage potentially, and it can also cut off limbs. So you have this, at first, like just by himself, he'd be a tough enemy, but then you have this really wretched, his horrible companions. Vial of oil, 5 shillings. His companions are a rifleman, and then a guy with a big meat mallet. And these enemies, there's no way around it. Like together, they're this horrible combo. You just sort of hate the whole thing. The club looks cozy enough. I think I'll sit down for a bit. I've had enough adventuring for the time being. And then, yeah, I think it's worth talking about this. You have this bar, which is really in the heart of the city here, and all of a sudden, like the town outside that was this horrible, disgusting mess of monsters and dead bodies and ruins, transforms just for a moment into something legitimately peaceful. And I think the transition, however sudden, works on such a level on your first playthrough in particular, because you're just not expecting it. Every other building you can go into is just going to have more monsters in it, but then all of a sudden, the music eases up. You're in a safe space. It becomes like a second home, and it's really amazing how easily games can facilitate the construction of those kinds of spaces in your mind. It's just the turning off of danger is the first thing, and then the musical cue, and then having people go and sit down, and the fact you can go around, light all the candles to make the space feel more homely. all of it is just builds to this sort of perfect. It's like a set piece almost, but like I don't know, an anti-set piece, where if the pressure is building and building and building, and then you get here and you can finally just even just for a minute just take a breath. But it's also worth 4 tiles feel loose here. Can investigate. What's this? A hidden basement. Oh, she did it twice. Okay, ladder downstairs. You find the speakeasy of the club from the downstairs. Check if there's anything interesting. Find the truth under the moonlight. And it feels more special, I think, in this game. I guess because there's not very many save rooms, so finding even one other save room is, yeah, this huge weight off your shoulders, I think, in terms of future planning. I think that's partly why the bar theme in Pathologic is so memorable. We associate this particular music cue with Respite after a while, yeah, and we carry that music cue with us. I mean, people come and watch, the soundtrack videos, and they've indexed that feeling of comfort, I think, and they look at that and they sit and they listen to that, and the memories, the feeling of relief is associated with the audio, So all of a sudden you have music that you can go to feel comfortable because you've experienced that level of comfort in a game. I think it's really quite something. This place is quite something. What do you know? Looks like this is an old speakeasy of the club, but it has since been converted into a hideout of sorts. Who hid here? Pathologic fans analyze together and bop together. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm here for. Some kind of revolutionaries, I think, that are clearly against both the Bremen militia and Eastern Union that used to occupy this area prior to Bremen. I mean, from the looks of things, at least. Or I don't know, what do you think? What are all these documents? There are some technical drawings here and there, but the technology looks very advanced. I'm not actually sure about what they're depicting. That map over there is showing certain locations. I think one of the locations is that tunnel we already visited. Whatever's going on here has something to do with those tunnels. Okay. That's the last bit of dialogue we can do here. How is it going? Usually if I have a problem in front of me, I act and fix the damn thing, but there's something very weird going on here. How can you act or do anything when you don't even understand the problem? Looks like some kind of an operation was planned here that took place around Preval area. There are 4 locations that seem especially important. Copy the markings to your map. So now you can see, so we've already activated one teleelectroscope. The one down the far bottom left, above the letter A there, that's theoretically the next place I want to go, because that's a space I'm really interested in exploring and discussing in particular. Again, we'll be going back to that split between civilization and nature, but it does it in such a profound way, I think. First, I just want to see what books I've picked up. So I've got the so we can learn more about the moon god. Very much like the sun, the moon is one of the primordial entities, and thus it has lore and beliefs written since the dawn of time. This makes it difficult to separate facts from fiction and mad ramblings from hidden truths. Consistent details among the myriad of stories seem to hint of a god called Re, also known as the trickster god and the moon god. In the most ancient of writings, Re is depicted as the god of the insane and those who succumbed to the madness. His blessing to men is his moonlight, which is said to uncover the truth under the human filth, a truth that is often too much for a human mind to handle. It can be debated whether his version of the truth is more accurate than that of the human filth. Unlike many of the other older gods, Re's part in the greater scheme of things remains a mystery. Just looking at the night sky, you can see his presence in an eternal slumber. This makes his secrecy even more infuriating. He is literally hiding in plain sight. So this text is saying that he actually is the moon. The mark of Re raises the maximum capacity of the mind. Text includes the sigil of the Re and instructions on how to use it. Okay, so we could get more mind if we needed it. But you can see that mind has been restored just by being in here, I think, and lighting all these candles. What else do we have? Such a good bit of music as well. Kaiser Critique. The Midnight Gazette, September 17th, 1942. The formation of the Marching Men of the Knight's Day marked the day Europa officially jumped the shark. There are conflicting stories as to whether the Bremen army has truly succumbed to the horrors that rumours speak of, but it is as clear as a day that something vile is brewing under the black and yellow banner of Kaiser's Bremen, especially the campaigns that took place in the area of Bohemia. Kaiser pursued this area with such vigour that it is, without question, his endgame. It's hardly a coincidence that Kaiser is opening up the talks about the peace treaty right after his Bremen pig occupied Preval, the capital of Bohemia. The Kingdom of Rondon and the Allied forces suspect this whole Bremen ambition is directly linked to the advanced electronic network experiments the Eastern Union has been conducting in the area. Karin is ill from hunger. I love that. Just like, actually, I'm hungry. I don't want to read right now. It's beyond me how the masses fail to see through these plans. Instead, they give credence to Kaiser's madness and place more trust in his perversions than logic. There are no rational answers to the irrational ideologies which Kaiser brings to the table. An article written by me, Karin Sauer. Okay, so have something to eat, have a meat pie, and puts us back to full. And I think from here, I'll save here. Top bunk or bottom bunk? This is truly, it's a difficult decision. We're gonna go top bunk. I don't know what that says about me. So, do some psychoanalysis. Top bunk or bottom bunk decides a person. Head to the tower. How may I best aid you in your quest? Save. Please save. Alright, leave. Alright, so what we can do from here, so I can't yet. So there was a bit of nighttime in the first two streams. So I can show you again, like just how dangerous it is to wander around this horrible city at night. You can see the visibility is already much reduced. 6 shillings, 6 shillings. Alright, lantern. Nothing left here. And then there's these enemies, the Inquisitors. Some of my favorite, most well-designed enemies. I don't really hear anyone talk about them all that much, but there's these, you can see like these huge towering figures with these big masks on, and they just follow you and ring the bell, sort of clinging on to their old rules, I guess, old ways of living, but obviously driven to madness. But there's just such striking enemies. Yeah, I'm really, really fond of them. How about a shilling for the poor old me? What can I get in return? Heh, right, nothing comes free in this world. The cards, I can read them and tell the fortune. So how about it, stranger? A shilling for a fortune told? It's a deal. How generous of ye. Heh. Now let's see. Got to think about it for a while. Fortune teller flips a card. It appears you're in search, or in desperate need, of select few relics of importance. The self-filleting man, the one symbolizing the downfall of men, the primal weakness, that one you can find from the mouldy prison that houses the foul and the weary, the gaping hunger, the one symbolizing the endless hunger and endless discontent, that one you can find from where one starts their long journey on the path to that very same discontent, the martyr, the one symbolizing the need for idols, the need for dreams to look up to, the need for those to blame at the darkest hour. Naturally, you can find that one from the House of the Holy. The fortune teller flips a card. 3 rivers. Appears you have begun another quest as well, one that is hidden in the plain sight. The 3 rivers lead you to the promised land. A man-made conflict hides a stream of consciousness. Follow upstream, a treasure hidden behind a waterfall. Hope you got your shillings worth. Thanks, buddy. Okay. So yeah, I'm just what the game does with atmosphere, you're really about to see a good example here. Just with the same repetitive sound effects over and over again, you can hear this horrible scream, and it's quiet, but it's like echoing through this enormous department building, and it does its job immediately. But you've also got this, like the stores offer at least some sense of normalcy that once was. Even just these little like sort of text, prompts. They prompt you how to think, how to feel about a space. Like, okay, this is a familiar space. Like we know this, but also the sound effects are telling us something is clearly not right. And the closer you get to the top, the more horrible the sounds become. Then you have like weird things like this. You take the chainmail dress in the middle of the store. Looks like you should be able to pick up whatever these are, but I don't think you can. No, you can't. Yeah, there's just a lot of little clever decisions, at work. Vertigo distorts the view of the lower rooms. You feel dizzy. And you have this horrible scream just getting louder and louder and louder, and you don't know what you're going to see. But then you see, these poor people, whether they were, these horrible soldiers or not, that were already committing atrocities. You've still got like these horrible sights here, just absolute depravity. Drive man is holding something tightly in his fist. Investigate. He looks dead. He's not breathing and looks almost mummified for some reason. We'll take the leechmonger ring. That's what we can do. Life training magic. We'll give a Bella that because I think we're already fully stocked with stuff. So there's nothing we can do for these people. We'll just have to walk back down. As far as I understand, maybe you can shoot them, but I don't really want to waste any bullets right now on that. Not that it would necessarily be a waste, but a quiet wind howls gently in the ruins of the city. Yeah, you really do get a really good sense of the city from here. Ornament and lantern. So, right, can't use it, can't hold it and use it. Unlock the gate. Bremen gas mask. I'll put that on, I suppose. Oh, can I not? Am I not allowed to? Is it maybe is it an accessory? It's an accessory. I really think that'd be a thing you'd equip on your head, but I guess it's just an accessory. So yeah, everything feels much more dangerous at night just because visibility is reduced just a little bit. And you can never quite tell what exactly is going to come find you in the middle of the night. I think some more dangerous things can come out in some areas. The ruination of this area seems somewhat recent. Lovely. And then, we have some garbage bins we can loot here. Another white vial. Yeah, it seems like no matter how bad a fridge is, it always has... There's an enemy there. Always has a white vial in it, which always cures poison. I guess he's not going to move. He's like sleeping or something? Yeah, they must be sleeping. Here's the mob. Here's the mob, so you can see basically just how screwed I am. So you can't select what to hit. It's a good thing I saved it before. I'm gonna try this, but it's never worked before. Where's the glass shards? I'm gonna throw it at the meat grinder man. I put the gasoline canister down. Blind him. get shot anyway, get bludgeoned anyway, get almost sawed to death anyway, hit the gasoline canister, and it's... Let's see over... Blow that up. Does that kill any of them? No. So it barely does any damage to them. Yeah. And like it does so much damage. I've not found any strategy to beat them. I've not beaten them even once. I just have to hope they don't appear in an area like that where I'm basically trapped between the two of them. I've escaped them a couple of times, but it's all just down to luck. The one enemy that I think needs a change or something. You can you can see it's pretty brutal. So instead of going that way, since there are people sleeping in the path that I need to go, we'll go to the orphanage instead. I don't know if I'll be able to survive the orphanage with just 2 characters, but we'll see. We'll see how we do. I'm also tempted to get into a fight with an Inquisitor just to show off their character model, but maybe not right now. We'll see how the orphanage goes first. The game is still being... It is, yeah. So the all the other people who are on the train and who aren't playable, I think he would like to make playable at some point. He was going to release a big patch, I think, earlier, but his laptop died and he hadn't backed it up, so he's had to remake everything that he'd worked on, which obviously is deeply frustrating. But I think he's close to having remade everything. He's going to add like a fishing mini game or something I saw. And yeah, he posted like, does this make it a real JRPG now sort of thing? Which is funny. Lots of good mods have died that way too. Yeah, it's like I feel like everyone like that happens to everyone like at least once. You just lose something and then you're like, I can't go through this again, and then you just start being like ultra careful. Dust specks float quietly in the air. The air is foreboding. Did I come into the orphanage last time when I played on stream? I don't think I did, but this area feels to me modeled quite strongly on the school in Silent Hill 1, but it also has this really great atmosphere. It's one of the areas that made me genuinely emotional. I'm not sure whether if we go to that area that actually provoked this level of emotion, which we might have to do because I don't have a key. We'll probably end up dying. This is a pretty dangerous area too, but we can have a wee look around. But yeah, I remember like losing a lot of gameplay footage at one point. I think that was the PT video. That was such a pain because I'd spent so long getting everything working. You can see like a ghostly figure wandering around there. And the music. I mean, the music sells it. Here we go. The cabinets contain documents of all the students and orphans that take residence here. From a quick glance, you can tell that the documents contain very intrusive information. It appears that none of the children have any privacy under this roof. So already a pretty shitty place. Talk, and you're gonna unequip that because you're gonna need that. Finish. You try talking to the figure. Is there something you're trying to tell me? The figure only giggles at you faintly. So it does mind damage. We can try talk again, but then we're going to have a Bella punch. Try talking to the figure. I mean no harm. Figure only giggles at you again. Miss. So we can try and attack. I think... Yeah, like only the punch does any damage. And they only do mind damage, obviously, but the lower mind you get, the higher the risk is that your character develops a phobia of everything. And when they do that, they're weak to every enemy, as far as I understand. Put the pipe wrench back. Books seem to be in good and clear order. Check if there's anything interesting. Oh, Camilla. Can I... Which one's craft again? This one? No, this one? Yes. So... List of ingredients. Don't have enough blue herbs. Make one highly flammable murky vial. That makes poison. We'll do that. Mixture of blue and red herbs. It's especially potent. Nothing worthwhile. School books. Chapter of Alma, the Skin Bible. So it's this universe's version of Christ. Ornament lantern. Nope. We're stuck. Lavender. Stuck. Stuck. So yeah, this area is really got a real amount of tension to it. Really bloody creepy too. So yeah, you don't want to get caught by those guys. You could probably tell, but yeah, they're child size too, which has unfortunate implications for what happened to all the children here. Math book on display, a couple of exams are highlighted. Truly terrifying. Maths exams, bad memories. So, try to go this way. No, utility items. Is there anything useful in here? No. School supplies. Door seems to be locked. Go back down this way. I feel like the enemy only stays in the hall, but I might be wrong about that. Yeah, okay. Come back down this way. So yeah, you really just like amazing how much heavy lifting the music does to create this like sense of loss and dismay and despair. Anything interesting? This chapter of Sylvian. So I don't. Sylvian, the goddess of love, lust, and creation. She created men and women at the dawn of time. From the very first moment, she loved her children dearly. Over time, her love blossomed into more obsessive form. She would take a more hands-on approach in controlling the direction her children took in life. Always having their best interests in mind, of course. Once she realized her children would never return the same amount of affection back to her, her love took a more twisted form. Sylvian forced mankind more to her liking and closer to her own image, with her gift to humans, the love magic, otherwise known as the flower magic. For a brief moment in history, mankind fell into a craze of fleshly delights. As a synchronized mass, a sea of naked people in the middle of coitus would pulsate and waste their days. Sylvian is often associated with Grogoroth, the god of destruction, and their offspring Venushka, the god of nature. The mark of Sylvian raises the otherworldly protection of its wielder. So yeah, you get this, this real sense that this particular iteration of our world is fundamentally messed up by the presence of these gods. School papers here. Oh, you can see like handprints appearing along the wall here. Another really lovely touch. I don't think I've noticed that before. It's really cool. Okay. Who saw me? Something saw me. Oh, they did. I'm gonna leave them because they do a lot of damage. Shit. Hits. Whew. Jump to safety. Yeah, some tiles around here are obviously dangerous. Maybe I need to go that way though. Unless I want to fall. What's in here? Because I don't think I have the strength to force the door with just me and the Bella. Recipes. Globe is a little outdated. The Second Great War demolished many country borders, as well as gave a new identity to some nations. Okay. Another creak from the floorboards. Cool. I don't really want to fall down there, but I don't know what other choice I have. Ideally, I'd be able to just get through this door, but I don't think I have the strength. Like, I don't know. Maybe I can blow them off the hinges with the gasoline. I don't know if it's a good use of the gasoline, but I have spare. Although, right, it won't work, will it? Because the doors are too strong. Does it actually use the gasoline? It does, yeah. So of course you can't use it. You need 2 turns. So I should have known that. I guess, look, we'll try fight our way past the cherubs or kite our way past them. But I'm not liking my chances, is what I'm alluding to here. Yeah, because they're right there. If I open the door, then they'll come down. They do a lot of bleeding damage, which I'm aware I'm immune to technically at the moment, but Abella is not. Oh, that was close. Okay, and there's more in here. So sneak past all of this. Should have seen that one coming. Jump back, wasting all my lucky coins on here on this one. Go this way. Okay. Dull odor lingers in the hallways. Door is locked with a reinforced lock. So you can see a broken bit of the floor there. Hopefully there's no one in here. Refrigerated in filthy condition. Among the filthy things you find, shocking surprise, white vial. How are we looking? Ugh. You just spawned out of nowhere. Equip. Remove. And then... I'll just guard, I guess. Does that do anything against mind? No. And they must have 100 health. Oh, dang. Just a needless waste. There you go. So if you have a small key, you basically, like, finish this area in, like, 2 minutes flat if you know what you're doing. But if you don't have the key, then yeah, you have to take a more circuitous route. You can see, obviously, here's sort of where it starts to get pretty horrible. There are rusty iron chains here. They're covered with similar stains that are found on the floor. Blood everywhere. So, pretty nasty orphanage, as orphanages often seem to be in fiction. Obviously, a place ripe for abuse, I suppose, is what they are. Wait, how much health do I have? 68. Don't need it quite yet, but I might need it soon. Okay, so we should be able to go out here. Do I even have the right item? Actually, now I'm realizing. Otherworldly force keeps the door stuck. Yeah, I don't have the right item. I just assumed I'd picked one up, but I haven't. We might as well. We'll explore the rest of the place. Probably die in the process, but we'll see more of the game, and you can come up with a sort of a battle strategy later on. Stuck. Ornament lantern. Has anyone been playing anything good recently? Any recommendations? Horror-wise or not? Because mainly this game is sort of all the only thing I've really had time to play properly. Speaking of roguelikes, completely addicted to Balatro. Crap. You might have to explain that one to me. I don't know if I've... What if I just unlock the door, and then I'll come back later with what I need. Poker if it was a roguelike. Interesting. Real good. I get the sense it's got that kind of addicting quality that a lot of roguelikes need for that kind of staying power. Duct tape, red herb, blue vial. Nope, nope, nope. Keep me out of this, Bobby. Rotten meat. I'm gonna go down this ladder here. Yeah, that sounds worth checking out. Door's locked. Oh, I thought I could use a small key on that other. What's one more PowerPoint presentation? Really? Yeah, there'll be time at the beginning of next class to share your PowerPoint presentations. Just please make sure they don't go on too long. The rest of the class has to give their presentations as well. Convex screen of the television distorts your reflection, and the thick glass muddies your shape even further. Your reflection is nothing like human now that you think about it. Very evocative, very nice. Oh, hello. I cannot believe that worked. I guess he wasn't after a fight. He just wanted to say hi. Ah, are you serious? Climb the ladder. Okay. Hmm. 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 They've reduced my capacity for human speech. Can I even avoid them? If I come back down this way... No, there's the rifleman. I mean, he's right there. Shit. What do I do? He's fast, too. And I think if one catches me, they all technically... Like, it's the same encounter, so, like, even if I separate them... Oh, man. I hate these guys. Come on, get a life. Like, they look pretty stupid right now, but if they catch me, like, I'm dead. One of the scariest things in this game is just 3 dudes. Yeah. One of them does have, like, a chainsaw, to be fair. But yeah, ultimately it is just 3 dudes. I don't know why you can't target the limbs separately. So arbitrary. Ah, Needles is here. Good. Good, we love that. Run, run, run. Oh, no. Was that... Yep, it was the mob. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Just go for the meat grinder, man. Get killed. He's stunned. Good. Heal myself. Just keep hitting the bloody meat grinder, man. He gotta kill him. Item. No. Skills. No. Attack the meat grinder man again, but wrench toss him as well. Which I think is a guaranteed stun. If I had more party members at this point, yeah, I could have done it, but they just do so much damage. Yovios, finally come to terms with the fact you enjoy Victoria 3, no longer a hater. What changed your mind? Just like sunk enough hours in, you really... The game just like warped your perception, or... Victoria 3 is much less headache inducing, which is a fair trade-off. That does sound like a fair trade-off. Sometimes I like my strategy games to induce less headaches. Sometimes. Not that I've played any real strategy games with any real consistency. The only one I've played has been Northgard, I think, which is very good. It's very cool. How may I best aid you in your quest? Do I have any? Do I have any hexen points? Okay. So the mob is like being an absolute pain. Because we'd like to go ideally through the orphanage, but I still don't have the item I need for that. So I need to loot some more places. And I would also like to go to the forest. We could technically try that again and just try and plow through that enemy. There's a chance the mob will just appear again. I guess that's a chance we have to take. Pick up the rifle, and pick up the trench gun. Climb up. All right. Dipping is dipping toes something people say? I feel like it is, but I feel weird having written it. No, yeah, like oh yeah, I dipped my toes into that recently. I dipped my toes into trying this horribly difficult video game recently, and I just yeah, it is something you say. I feel like you looked at it though and just like second guessed yourself. I guess we could look in here as well. You can buy things from this guy. What's your name, lass? Karin. Fuck you, Karin. Now that the introductions are out of the way, what do you want, stranger? 60, 63 shillings is all you got. Thanks, buddy. You're a real nice guy. I don't know if there's anything I really need, but I can always come back. We're done here. Thank you very much for nothing. Devs developed it with the idea that the users will read the beginner guide on the wiki at length before playing. That's a fraught design decision, isn't it? Sometimes it's unavoidable if you really have made a game incredibly complex, mathematics wise, but sometimes an introduction would be nice. Just gonna try to kill this guy. No, I had to see it right. Okay, got rid of him pretty quick. Eat mallet. Beat him. Tomato. He's got the paradox itch. That's highly contagious. Gonna avoid these landmines, which in this game are not joking around. The city of Preval, the city that has fallen from grace. That's an understatement. Ugh, I'm not bleeding though. No. Just grazed. An eerie silence fills the air, devoid of any life. Someone's singing. Ooh. Oh hi, what are you doing here? I got bored just sitting inside. The forest bed already fascinated me yesterday and I just had to inspect it closer. I'm a botanist, you see. A botanist, you see. I'm a botanist, you see. I have a condition, you see. Creepy. So we want to avoid falling into any instant death spike pits around here. But these guys don't. Let's make it easy. I'm sure you probably saw those guys who ambush us. The hound hisses at you with its saliva splattering around. Please, is this really necessary? Such disgusting creatures. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've also done a actual Paradox game run. So long. See if I can just kill this guy real quick, but probably not. These enemies are really cool, I think. I like them a lot. Particularly because of what they do here. Like, yeah, the owl cultist summons something from the other side. What a cool, horrifying visual. I've got no idea whether I'm going to be able to kill him in time. No, the owl sprite is tilting its head. Owl cultist is tilting its head. Ow. Jerk. Rev up. Just attack the torso again and again. Cool, did it. So the owl sprite has an instant kill move, which I like to avoid, personally. It happened to me once, it was a bad time. Hello? Last person is serenading to the moon. Her blank eyes are fixated on the moon and nothing but the moon. Excuse me? No reaction, she just keeps on singing. It's a beautiful song. Just keeps on singing. What is wrong with you? No reaction. Obviously pretty big into her opera. It really does add a cool atmosphere. She's not normally here during the day, so it's a pretty cool feature. I may also just take this cultist's head here. Took the owl cultist head as a trophy. You can see there, it's really hard to see, but just below me there's a spike pit, so if I walked into that, just instant death. That's why you have to be so cautious around here, I think. Oh, what? You don't get a voice like that by stopping every time someone asks you why you're a weirdo. Exactly. It takes practice to work through the, you got to work through the heckling, right? I mean, such an integral part of show business. Yeah. Imagine just singing rock and roll or something up on the stage, and you just heckler just scream like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Oh, no, piss off! It's called show business, not talk business. Damn right. Get down to the people. The people came to see the singing. They didn't come here to see them talk. Okay, so I'm about to get into an area that I'm really quite fond of. It'll probably kill me, like nearly instantaneously. The enemy in here is pretty freaky, is the right word. All the enemies in here are. It took me so long to figure out the path, but you just go up through here. I don't know if you heard that scream before, but that's the scream of the enemy we're going to be facing. Hopefully trying to avoid. I mean, I suppose I should have prefaced the whole video with it, but this enemy in particular is really disturbing. So I don't blame anyone if they elect not to. I bloody hate this enemy. Really fucking freaky. Especially in the dark. Shit. I'm hoping I can avoid them. Okay, so we dodged around them. That's good. All right. So you probably saw just like a glimpse of them. Hoping that's all we're going to see. But in here, things, regardless, are going to get properly disturbing. Anyway, I don't think there's any way around it. We've also got no idea whether we'll survive down here. We're sort of low on healing items, aren't we? If I mix that together and then cool, okay, and correct. I still have several gasoline things, right? Yeah, I got 3. So technically I don't need to pick up any more. So this is another one of the bunkers where you need gasoline, and there are 2 gasoline things lying around. If I can avoid the enemy in here, I'd be really pleased. It wouldn't surprise me if I can't, though. I've had pretty bad luck, obviously, with the mob, so it wouldn't surprise me if my bad luck continued. Yeah, we'll see. Just as a side note, I really like Karen's character just having her hands in her pockets the whole time. She's just like, yeah, like, I'm too cool for this. Like, none of this is phasing me in the slightest. She only takes them out to, like, attack in combat, which is honestly a pretty cool, like, attitude for a character to have. Duct tape. Chalk. Much cooler than Travis, I think we can all agree. Travis needed that kind of style. Although Travis was just, like, socking things in the face, so I guess he had, like, his own style. So yeah, that's, there's, like, a disturbing creature there. Frank Alenzi, so you're rushing to the defense of Travis? I wanna like kite it around. How far does it go? Let's let's not open up old wounds. I wouldn't be surprised if Travis doesn't even have pockets. Yeah, he's not even that cool. Dodge past them. I was starting to feel hungry. Grab the gasoline canister from here. Unlock that one and that one. Electric panel, but no electricity. I thought there was no electricity in those other ones, but she could still hotwire them. That's alright. Okay, the cowboy hat reveal is still one of my most cherished moments from any of your streams. I couldn't have planned that any better, honestly. It was like the perfect storm of things, you know. The cowboy hat coming up earlier in discussion, and then me unlocking it because I'd done enough steps in the previous playthrough, I think, is the weird requisite. Oh shit. Ah, good. And there's the other enemy that you can see. She's found me, which is cool. I would like to avoid fighting her, but I don't know if I can. I feel like she's on the path I need to go. Hi. How's it going? Do I have any bullets? Yes, I do. Karin is out of ammo. That's fine. I shot Stitches up, so that's good. Can I continue to do so? No. I can't hold them. Oh, wait. Being stupid. Just like Stitches is being stupid. That and the point where Blue Voices and I demanded you explain the ending at the same time. It was great. I had so much fun with those. It was such an off-the-cuff decision to like even stream it in the first place. Um, cool. Take that, Stitches. I don't want to fight you. I'm just not interested. You're a really cool enemy, but I'm not interested. Um, equip. That's how Karin deals with her problems. From a distance with a big gun. Uh, and I rewatched this streams fine recently because finals week is painful, and they healed me. I'm glad. I'm glad they have a rewatchable quality as well. That was so much fun. The person is down. Search. You find a cloth fragment. Beat her, and then saw off her head. Just so you don't get back up. Took the head of the Stitches as a trophy. I'm going to try and avoid fighting the living flesh up there. So maybe that worked out alright. It probably was a waste of bullets in the end, but I didn't want to get trapped into fighting her particularly. No, it's. I'm glad that these are rewatchable. That's really good to know. Okay. Miscellaneous manuals. I love this Travis hating community. Whatever else, whatever else we can agree on. We can agree. Travis, yeah. Travis sucks. Travis hating is my only hobby. He was. What a character. Okay, now we have so many gasoline canisters. Why am I getting so many? Does Karin just like attract gasoline canisters? I'm not sure we can all agree. Oh. Francois Gold, Mumbler Purple, Tormented Red. We're getting like references to the earlier New Gods. And then we've got obviously a twisted reference to the human centipede here. Okay. So we'll head down to the basement. You're welcome to make your own PowerPoint presentation on the subject. Yeah, please have it submitted to me by 9 a.m. this time. Next Saturday. I'd love that. Don't tempt me. Yeah, there's a lot of tempting going on here. I mean, can I get past that guy again? I really just have to like lure him this way again? Sadly. Come on. You disgusting, horrible lump of flesh, but if we sprint this way. It may be bad PR. What a fever dream of a video game. Force the door open. No. Abella, unlock it. Thank you. I want to see what's up here. Just the elevator. Yep. Go down. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of Travis hate on the internet, and I have to call this out right now. Proceeds to talk about it for the remainder of the 50-minute video. Yeah, I just want to make this a short, quick video, just like rebutting some of the points that people have against Travis, and then just, hours later. And I think that's everything, yeah. Thanks for watching. And make sure to watch the follow-up video that I'll be releasing next week, yeah. Such a... When did I stream that game? Was that a year ago? Something like that, wasn't it? Oh, sir. Stand back. July. Right. Goodness me. Yeah, where does the time go? Where does it go? I have no interest in you if you remain docile. Yellow mage is looking pale and weak. Just stand back. Are you alright? I'm in a better shape than how it may appear. So don't get any ideas. It's none of your concern anyway. Just continue on with your business and I will do the same. What is your business? Do I look like I'm in a shape where I would like to explain my goings? Why not amuse me with your motives instead? The lies of HGA. A spirited defense of Travis Grady. Perfect. And you've originized the text as well. The world was so different back then. Yeah, back when the primordial creatures roamed the earth. And yeah, I still hadn't made a 2-hour video yet, let alone twice. I'm interested in what this bunker hides from the world. You understand this machinery and technology? I try. Don't get this the wrong way, but it would be beneficial for both parties if we joined our forces for the time being. Good idea. The Yellow Mage of the South joins your party. Welcome. Okay, so we got a new friend. My chance to shine. Unlock. Duct tape. Saw blade. Scrap metal. Bone saw. Gunpowder. Saw blades. Not bad. Alright, back down we go. And we've reached the second teleelectroscope here. Switch on the monitor. Connect teleelectroscope to the logic. Cool. Can do party talk here. Osa seems to be observing his surroundings. Who shot that arrow in you? It's between me and the person who did this. You will know it if we run into him. I can guarantee you that much. It doesn't look like a regular arrow. It is not a regular arrow. It's enchanted, or cursed rather. It appears to suppress the otherworldly capabilities when hit. It's an interesting little thing for sure. Interesting indeed. What can I can't give him anything. He's pretty wounded. But you just have to make do. Let's look at the simple lock. It's a small key. Yeah, we'll have a look in here. Karin is weak from hunger though. Need some more dried meat here. Bench grinder looks pretty heavy. Take the bench grinder. Spreadsheet is depicting signal strength from past few months. There's no data from the last couple of weeks. Note here talking about proper confidentiality adequate. Apparently whatever was being made in these bunkers had to remain within. Yeah, it's pretty disturbing from the looks of it. Locker is empty. Just also read a new fan translation of Sacred and Terrible Air, which is the book by the lead writer of Disco Elysium. It was so good. Oh, very nice. Yet more to engage with, yeah. Mysterious letter. Find a coded letter. There's always so much interesting art being made and produced and translated and all these things. HGA Book Club when? Hey, I mean, yeah, I'll start assigning readings, shall I? And we can come to the stream, discuss a book alongside the game. I honestly wouldn't mind that, but I feel like that's a lot of homework to put on, to put on viewers. But it would be fun. Okay, this knife. Hate them so much. They caught me like every time I used to come into this area. They would just consistently catch me and kill me, in like a turn. So I'm so glad I didn't get caught by them. Okay, the goal here now is to get back to the train alive, and then we'll be in a pretty good place, I think, to be honest. Oh, please, no. Please, why? Okay, yeah, we're just gonna hit him. I just realized I didn't equip any weapon on him, did I? Accessory, beheaded wizard. Suspicious. Have a pipe wrench. If I die now, I swear to God. Okay, here we go. Love his wizardly jig. I like that. He's got a wizardly jig. I like that a lot. He's very stylish. I feel like a real HGA book club would reformat all books like this. Originize the text. My brain would melt. My brain melted just reading Frank Lindsay's like fake video title. That was enough for me. I was like, okay, really, really struggling here. How did we make it through the entirety of that game with the text like that? It was insidious. Why did they do that? Why was the text like that? I don't know. It's the product of a, yeah, something evil. Something evil was working its magic on that game. And then, yeah, I do still need someone to explain like why the final boss of that game was what they were, I guess. Um, like just a demon, just a straight up demon. Hey, I think I'll sit down for a bit. I've had enough adventuring for the time being. So I wandered off to the next cabin. Not much of a talker, is he? But regardless, we're doing pretty well. I realize I should probably use my last white file here to get rid of the poison. Rest for a bit. Making much better, steadier progress than last time, I think. Okay. Fear's getting a hold of you. How may I best aid you in your quest? Save. Nothing else here. Yeah, rambling is always welcome. Always welcome here. I know I ramble enough. Under the sulphur sun. Here we go. So I reckon I'll go for maybe another half an hour. I'm starting to feel the burn. I'm only just like, it really is like a muscle you sort of have to flex. Streaming. I guess I have been pretty busy as well, and as you can probably tell, I've still got that cold I was talking about last week, so still slightly down and out, unfortunately, but I'll get better soon. I'm just glad I've actually got the time and the facility to do these streams at the moment. Yeah, it's very nice. It's nice, yeah, nice to have all of you guys here as well. Really lovely to have a continued community. I'll have you know that this text is a result of unclean or broken typewriter escapement, which gives an off-kilter impression and clearly represents Travis's deteriorating mental state. You know, you can... If I ever reach that state of, like, horror game analysis, yeah, you know, you shoot me, you know, like... That's the terrifying stage, you know. Most people already left for the city. Like, I went to check out the city too, despite the dangers city vaccine, though. Yeah, I mean, you're building the hype here. I mean, I'm gonna need a signed copy. You know, I was there. I was there day one, and Frank Lindsay's pitched his book. I inspired it. You know, you got some. Yeah, you got some things to say about Travis. You know, I can respect that. Like, there's a lot to say about Travis that's been left unsaid, especially when he started punching the old woman. I mean, that was uncalled for. Whoa. I don't know how I dodged him, but I did. I'll take it. The ritual crucifix. They used to have these in the olden times, but you never seen one in person. The smell inside of the sacrificed corpses is repulsive. You feel like throwing up. Seen a lot of bad things today. Hello. A lone villager, huh? He's got a great chance here. One turn, dead. Find a sickle. We still haven't dealt with Needles yet, actually. He's still around. You find yourself in the middle of an encounter. Take it easy, it was all just a big misunderstanding. We continue our separate ways and everyone stays alive for tomorrow. It's easy to feel remorse when you're looking down the barrel of a gun. Needles, I was just talking about you. Attack the Bremen lieutenant. Tch, how annoying. Pav whips out his pistol faster than you're able to react. Too slow, too slow. The near-lethal attack on a defenseless grandma was clearly symbolic of Travis's repressed resentment towards his parents as a result of unresolved childhood trauma. The attack itself was a metaphorical act of rebellion against the path his parents led him on, which eventually resulted in his experiences in Silent Hill. You joke, but I don't know if I got into this. Gibbs with the chaotic soul. I don't know if I got into this, but the bad ending of Silent Hill Origins um, boils down to Travis is a misogynistic serial killer. Unironically, I don't know if I talked about that at all, but that is the bad ending of the game. That's basically the revelation is that all of his childhood traumas resulted in him becoming misogynistic and a murderer, and it sort of boggles the mind really that that's how it ends. That's what happens. I don't know. It's weird. Um, it's there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. I think. What happened here? I'm not proud of it, but I see a Bremen officer I punch before asking questions. I'm sure he would have shot me if you didn't stop him. It's enough proof of his intentions. He was a bad man. It's not like I wanted him cold on the gutter. I'm heading back to the train. It seems to be the safest area I've seen so far. Recommend following me there. Yeah, I'll come back to pick you up in a minute. Army uniform, a Luger pistol, and 10 9mm bullets. I need a cloth fragment. Looking pretty wounded here. I think I'll leave Abella at the train to keep her alive for now, if I can. Just got to kite our way past the woodsman again. But yeah, I was also reading a bit about agency in games and sort of how we respond to choice, and sort of what appeals about certain games and their choices. And there's a really, there's a big gulf in ideas of how agency is represented in games, or how we understand agency even. Because if anyone's ever heard of Ian Bogost, I think maybe I talked about him last time as well, but he wrote this sort of foundational text on procedural rhetoric, which argues that games are themselves a form of rhetoric, and that by playing them, we are being persuaded of something, of some truth in the world. And while that sounds like a really compelling argument, and it is, it's a very interesting way to look at games. The byproduct of that decision is that every game basically is made into work, into a job. And I feel like the argument sort of culminates in this idea that video games are only worth discussing in certain social or sociological terms and circumstances, which just simply isn't true. It's very reductive. But when it comes to agency, I mean, Fear and Hunger 2 gives you all of these different moral choices which contrast with the mechanics. So it does it similarly to Pathologic. And we have this really interesting um, situation where you're being asked to kill other human beings in order to become more powerful. And the more people you keep alive, actually, the less powerful you are, in a sense, as an individual anyway. And yeah, I find that very interesting. I've always found that kind of thing very interesting. But it's being allowed to make those choices about who lives and who dies that prioritizes the player, but does it in such a way that it can drastically backfire on you too. You can always, I could have been shot and killed by Pav, for instance, very easily if things hadn't gone my way. So there are all these kinds of things to consider. Yeah. Has anyone encountered the idea of procedural rhetoric before? It's a very I think it's a very harsh way of looking at games. It makes sense from a certain point of view, and maybe for certain games, but it really does. Like reading through that text, sort of like, well, a game is like basically just like a bunch of jobs. Um, New to you, that's cool. It's really, yeah, it's a really foundational game studies idea, or an important game studies idea, because it's a whole lens through which you can view video games. So say I was to like break down like a survival horror game like this into procedural rhetoric, as I understand it, basically the game is trying to convince me of a fundamental truth, say about like could be about human nature or something. Um, and basically all the mechanics and the fiction are working together to tell me, okay, humans, for instance, I don't know, might not be worth saving because at the end we're all like the selfish scumbags or whatever. Say that was the game's message. The game would be reinforcing that through encouraging me to kill other people and slowly turn me into this sort of hostile entity. That is like a form of procedural rhetoric, but we're breaking it down into like smaller jobs. So we'd be saying like, okay, so basically we become an algorithm, right? So the game turns around and plays us, which is always true. The game is always playing us because this idea, right? When we play a game, there's a duality. So we're playing it, but we're also responding to it in turn. So basically, it's playing us. We're reacting to it, and we're playing it, and it's basically just like a cycle, right? So but basically, procedural rhetoric takes it a step further, as is my understanding anyway, and says, well, you can't have gameplay without rules, and therefore rules need to be followed, and therefore you're the thing that follows the rules. Therefore, you're the thing that needs to follow these rules. Therefore, you're an algorithm, or you're a step in the algorithm. You're following these repetitive actions, and through these repetitive actions, you're learning something. It could be anything. Um, it's a really compelling way to look at games at first, but I think the longer you think about it, the bleaker it becomes. Or maybe you already think that already, but it's really interesting thinking of a game through that lens and then trying to see, well, okay, if games are capable of procedural rhetoric, which I think they are, but they don't need to be so starkly defined, I think is the problem. The definition sucks fun out of video game, turns it into work, which is a depressing way to look at any game. Um, like even this kind of game, obviously, I find this kind of like brutally difficult, bleak horror game really fun. Other people wouldn't, but to me, procedural rhetoric would suck the fun out of anything for anyone if you viewed every game like that. But it is worth looking into. It's a really foundational idea. If you're interested in game studies, um, it's worth reading. I'm trying to remember the book. I think it's Persuasive Games by Ian Bogost. Um, is the name of the book. Um, just yeah, a recommendation if you're interested in that sort of sociological side of game design and game development. It's interesting to examine the influence that a game has on a person's ideals and ideologies. But often, like that influence doesn't have to be long term either. I mean, you can have like short term ideological influence. Um, yeah, it's interesting. Want to tag along? Sure, I could take a look around for now, anyways. So I realize that just tangent after tangent, I just constantly, like, oh, here's something else interesting and random. I hope I'm focusing on the game enough. Heard you met Marco in the city. Yeah, Marco's right behind me. Want to tag along? Oh, sure, I guess. Then I can move around more freely. It would be good to see just what is happening here. Okay. So I can bring someone with me. I can feel my brain expanding by 50 to 75% just from that. That's good. That's what I'm here for. Brain expansion. But smarter adding these to my reading list. Good. Yeah. Um, I hope you enjoy these recommendations. You don't have to read them by any means. I mean, what I plan to do is talk about them in videos anyway. So like if you want to go deeper into the idea, you can take it straight from the horse's mouth. But I do like to think I give everyone's ideas a fair shot and explain them well enough in the video. I think if there has ever been an instance where I haven't done a good job setting the scene, I would like to know so I can go back to it and have a think about it. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff out there that's foundational that the internet doesn't um, just isn't aware of, or terminology that the internet isn't aware of or often misuses. And I would like to even like make the smallest drop in the ocean and say, okay, look, here's what the scholars are talking about, and here's how we can apply it to like video games that we all play, that we all enjoy. And that's really my aim, is to sort of say, well, look at all these Bella, is to look at like all these like really, well, not necessarily common, because Fear and Hunger is still like pretty niche when it comes down to it. But like looking at all these horror games and saying, okay, well, here are the forces that are acting on you, the player, when the horror game is in motion when you're playing it. And yeah, that's really what I'm interested in, as well as and I come at it from like a textual analysis perspective. Um, do you ever think about extracting ideas from your streams and turning them into videos? I've been going back through your Bachelor playthrough recently, and there's so much fascinating stuff in there. All the time, all the time. Give me some examples. Is there anything that you're like, damn, that's really interesting? I really wanted to expand on that idea. Um, I was watching the episode We Visit the Polyhedron last night, and it was making me genuinely emotional. Yes, yes. You don't know how happy I am to hear that. The polyhedron, the fact that I could make my feelings so abundantly clear and actually have the emotions work on someone else that I'm feeling. I mean, I know we're obviously all familiar with pathologic and all have our own expectations about the polyhedron, but the fact that I can make my feelings concrete and then also archive them is actually something really special, and I don't know if I fully appreciate it yet. But what I do appreciate is everyone watching and enjoying. I mean, it really does mean a lot. Yoviest, jokes aside, the tangents are what I'm here for. These streams are like watching a professor pathologic analyze it for the whole class. Awesome. I'm not, not quite a professor yet, but like I'm getting there. So maybe one day, you can come and take an extra class, huh? The use of contrasting cities and wilderness is my pick. Already mentioned that. They're definitely more. Can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, like I would just love to hear like if there's like an idea that's like, wow, I wish you'd talk more about that. Like it, there's a chance that like I find it really interesting, and like I've probably just like got other projects that have superseded it, or I've forgotten about a particular aspect of a particular work. But those kinds of things, like, do feel free just to like comment on the video, like, oh, I was, like, I found this really interesting. I was really engaged by this idea, etc., etc. Because yeah, there's a lot to mine, isn't there, from all of these games? They're all really worthy texts. Search, nothing of value anymore. What I'm gonna do Get you equipped with stuff. You'll be fine. So Olivia gasps as she takes the trench gun in her arms. The firearm feels heavy and sturdy. Slowly you graze its thick barrel with your index finger. Olivia's body is tingling with adrenaline just from holding the gun. You've never used one before, but oddly it feels just right, like you were always meant to wield one. I love that, just like this sort of primal, like violent language being used as the oh hello, the girl in the wheelchair clutches the giant shotgun. All right, Needles, we finally meet. Time for the usual strategy. Something very unique about the streams, though, you two chatters, and yeah, Future Cityscape, we're dropping the most insanely poignant ideas the whole time too. Yeah, I think what really makes it work, yeah, is like you guys also contribute a lot to it. I mean, it's all well and good like me talking about these things and like yelling into the void, but the fact that you know everyone's it's like a dialogue going on. That's really important too. Okay, what else should I do? I'm just gonna throw more just in case. You put down the gasoline canister. HGA Martyr. It feels like a really unique space. I don't know where else I can talk about this stuff, honestly. Yeah, I'm really happy to facilitate that. I'm also sorry I haven't gotten back to your comment that you left on Silent Hill 4, but I will do that at some stage, I promise. I really appreciate those really lengthy comments. I really appreciate all the time you put into those. Yeah, no, know that like I'm deeply appreciative of all your contributions. Everybody's. Needles is blinded. His eyes are bleeding. Go to hell, Needles. You suck. Yeah, not so good without your head, huh? Find 3 syringes of heroin. And there's a Bobby as well. Did the Bobby give up? Or does he just know that, yeah, he's blocking me off. He knows I can't get past him. I think. Oh no, he gave up. Okay, he actually did give up. Alright. Yeah, it's been really nice watching the slow growth of my channel and just you guys, everyone who engages with the games seriously and with the ideas critically, and just everyone like sharing personal thoughts and opinions. I mean, it can be a really poignant, sort of strangely intimate space, and I do really appreciate it. It really is like the video game equivalent of book club that exists anywhere else. I don't know about it. Happy to facilitate that. It's really great to hear. I do want to facilitate reasoned, intelligent discussion about games and their actual impact. Oh shit. And still have fun doing it. That's the important thing. But I do want to bring these ideas up, and I never want to compromise that. Basically. Do I start this area? I don't know if I should. When I start this area, it might take a while to finish, but I'll go through the back alley here and unlock the door. I suppose I'd have to save. I don't really want to waste a save. What could I do? Unlock the gate. If I unlock that, I mean, it's not like I'd be losing much progress here anyway. Yeah, no, and yeah, like as I said before, if anyone can think of anything else that that I've brought up. Like often I'll say things, but I won't remember quite everything I've talked about during a stream, and some ideas that I find interesting in the moment and that I should expand on. Just get lost outside of that moment. No, damn. Justice and order. So obviously this enemy is inspired by inspired by quite a few of the Silent Hill enemies with the sort of unnatural twitching and so on. Talk, and then everyone else just attack the body. Use a rev up point, and he's hurting on him. Ow. Distorted and screechy, barely understandable. I'll try get his head still. Again. Termina, you want to talk? Unjust. Okay, that didn't work, did it? No. Didn't work at all. Here we go again then. Alright. Just keep plugging away at him. Good. Attack. Nice. Got him. Smoky. Bait him. Twitching is truly perfect. It's like muscles and nerve impulses continuing to act in a lifeless husk. Fits the theme of the cities perfectly. Yeah. All these all these people still technically alive, but not actually functioning in the slightest. You bang on with that description, I think. I like that a lot. Okay, we got another one in here. This shelf is dedicated. Hang on, yeah. This shelf is dedicated to modern drama. Many of the books center around people waiting for their loved ones to return from the battlefield. No. Cool. Find the Kaiser's Rise to Power. Find the Chapter of Golden Fear and Hunger. Good, I was looking for one of those. Chapter of Gorgoroth. I feel like I'm doing pretty good with the skin Bibles. Normally I got really bad luck finding skin Bibles, because they unlock new rituals at the circles. Well, I do feel like I don't know if there's a point to saving, but I guess like if I run this way. Fuck that Bobby in particular. A cab. What did that Bobby do to you? For justice and order. Bobbies in general suck, I agree. Hey, babe. Osa's probably gonna die. Yeah, could be the end of Osa. But we might just refresh the... we might save and quit, do another 5 minutes or so, but we'll see what happens. Just try and plug away at the torso. I think what I like most about... I really like the combat screens in this game. Like they're visually really striking, like taking place in an empty street. But also, like, you have the enemy, like, looming over you. It feels like it gives every enemy, like, a position of power and privilege. Like, you've got to respect every enemy that you fight just because of their position on the screen. Even, like, that, even just a decision as simple as that reinforces it. Really cool setup, just visually. Oh, hello. Here goes the Bremen leader, I think. Oh. I'm gonna let that guy shoot me. 5 shillings in the bin. Throws out perfectly good cash. Streets almost feel too quiet, even for an abandoned town. Meat pie, turnip. There goes a Bobby, killed by some enormous creature. Not much left of him anymore. I don't think there's anything this way other than a meat pie in a barrel. Mothman? No, I think that's actually, as far as I understand, the one... right, there is a zone over this way. He ends up being like the one requisite, the one fight in this whole game you actually have to do, as far as I understand. I think all the others you can skip or dodge in some way. Bag of wheat flour, tomato, bone saw, eyeglasses, duct tape. There's also a reference to a specific furry YouTuber who helped popularize the first game. Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool, honestly. Gotta respect when the developer acknowledges where the success came from. I like that a lot. That's really cool. Oh man. I could try fight this guy. Osar's probably gonna die. You know what? Yeah, okay, no, we'll just run alongside him for a second. I'm not very good at fighting these guys. I think I've only ever beaten him once. The chances that, yeah, he's gonna wipe the floor with me, but that's alright, because we haven't made that much progress comparatively. The idea is, yeah, just to see how quickly we can take him out. Go, boss gun. Alright, I can do this all of a sudden. Leaks. Go, bosses with us, yeah. That's the go. Make some trouble. Oh yeah. 35 damage. Inspiring. Ow. I don't know if there's a way around his shield. I don't know if it like... I feel like it just doesn't take... Yeah, like it just doesn't take much damage. Okay. I don't have any healing items, do I? Nope. I stunned his right arm, at least. I guess, yeah, just everyone just gets 2 attacks at his torso, I suppose. Not much else I can do. Oh, it does so little damage. Olivia is out of ammo. That means we're truly screwed. I did stun him again, though. Guess we'll try and take out the right arm. We'll just keep alternating, hoping that we stun him each time. Oops, I forgot to equip a weapon on her. Nope. One whack. This is how police look when you're 3. That's what the game. That's just what the game is. Just from everything from a child's perspective. Karin was defeated. All right, that's probably a good place to end it for the day. Because I'm feeling feeling the 3 hours of non-stop talking. I should probably shut up for a little bit. But yeah, yeah, as always, really appreciate listening. You guys tuning in, listening to my ramblings. It's been 3 hours. Yeah, it's flown by, right? We're having a lot of fun. I'm glad. I'm glad I was so interesting that 3 hours flew by. It wasn't like some boring bloody lecture, you know. um, no, yeah, really, really do appreciate it. 99% sure it's been 15 minutes. I'm really glad that you obviously enjoyed. I'll be back in a week's time. I imagine it'll be either another 3 hours, possibly four. Um, be around for a bit longer. Um, Next week, even just like another half an hour or so. Um, yeah, no, I'm keen to either continue this or pathologic. Only my mood can determine what I will do. But yeah, undoubtedly there'll be more discussion. Probably finish that book I was reading. Come back to Clara. Yeah, she deserves a finished playthrough. And yeah, might talk some more about how procedural rhetoric works in terms of pathologic. But I can also talk about some other agency related things. And yeah, like maybe how time works in video games a bit too. Um, but yeah, regardless, I'm sure it'll be a good time. Thanks everyone for tuning in, as always. Yeah, it was a great time. Thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your week. Catch you later.